guys. We are going to be looking at day 4 in the Meagan Jackson trial. We ended with what was supposed to be the star witness, in my opinion, wasn't very star witnessy. Cross-examination, pretty lackluster. No more questions. We're still in the state's case in chief. Let's see what happens. I think we're getting some text messages today, and that's always spicy. I'm back on StreamYard, and it is giving me a signal that my connection's only fair today. So if you guys notice any quality issues, let me know. I'll go over to Restream and we can reboot. I did a speed test, and I've got 22 megabits up speed, which is what Spectrum always gives me maximum. So maybe StreamYard's being funky bunch today. But with that being said, I've got my docket like it's hot hat ready to go. We are in here. Hey there, Violet. Good to see you. Violet is going to be live with us today. STS was here early, and look at STS. Already we're starting off. Let's get some STSs in the chat. Thank you so much, Steven. Always supporting the channel. It's super good to have you hanging out with us the last few days. Especially with kind of a, this is, ultimately, guys, this is a he said, she said trial. They might have both done something wrong, right? But it's like, who really did the shooting? And were they both there, and did they both plan it? So, it's been great to have STS here with his insights. Thank you so much for gifting. We're going to have you sponsor 10 water pours. I think we had like 11 water pours yesterday. 10 water pours. There we go. So big thank you. I see Amanda in here. I see Jenny. Good to see you, Jenny. We've got Mr. Big Play Bray on this Friday. Hope you like that. And we've got our favorite portrait. So we'll get this going. We'll leave it normal speed, but if it's too slow, let me know, you guys.
All right, anything from the state before we bring the jury in?
Nothing from the state, Your Honor.
Anything from the defense?
Yes, sir, Your Honor. Couldn't give you, try to get with Ms. Walker's sworn to get item number. I couldn't give you the item number, but there's a flash drive that was marked, it was identified to be an exhibit. My understanding that it contains the cell phone extraction from Meagan Jackson's phone. And just confirm, I think the intention is, she intends to put it in evidence, Your Honor, that it is replete with incredibly insightful character evidence, pictures of guns, emails going to Meagan Jackson, showing pictures of guns. It violates every court order you've made thus far, every ruling. Guns, videos of guns, clients shooting, a client shooting a gun, information about the abuse and neglect case, pictures of dead people's bodies, graphic images of my client and others, racist dialogue, pictures of a miscarriage, and any other disturbing thing you can think of. It is the most comprehensive character. It would be like a case study on improper character evidence. And so that's not an argument I can make in front of the jury. I want to bring it to the court's attention. If she moves to introduce that, I'll be objecting under Rule 403. And I'm still in this issue, even attempting to reach the line.
All right, state's position.
Your Honor, the defense will agree that I can admit excerpts from that extraction report. Then I am happy to introduce that thumb drive as ID only. Because I have had Lieutenant Wells extract portions of that report that are relevant to this case.
Okay.
Yeah, because the extraction is quite voluminous. So I can have Lieutenant Wells identify that is the extraction he did if defense agrees to the different excerpts from the report.
I see. Okay.
Yes, sir, Your Honor. I think that would be appropriate. Obviously, I would, take a chance to look up those are, but that'd be fine.
All right. All right, we'll follow that procedure then. All right, anything else from the defense before we bring the jury?
Yes, sir. Other than just, obviously, I can't wait. I don't know until I see it what the excerpts are, but yes, sir, otherwise, We're good.
That's fine. There's got to be a relevancy issue to the case. Just underneath that. All right, let's bring the jury in.
All right, we got to look for our notepad instruction. Get them in. Oh, this looks like they do it quickly. And by the way, I would love if she took the stand in this trial, Meagan herself.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. I hope everyone had a good evening. We're ready to resume the trial of the case. Make sure you have your own notepads and no one else's notepads. All right, State can call your next witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. The state calls Lieutenant Ben Wells.
He's happy to be here. He is very tall.
Please raise your right hand and place your left hand on the Bible. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the evidence you try to give the court in this case?
Look at
is
her
the
looking
truth,
up
whole
at
truth,
him.
and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. Get you to state your name and then spell your last name for the court.
I'm Benjamin A. Wells, W-E-L-L-S.
Mary, Your Honor.
Yes.
Thank you. Lieutenant Wells, where do you work?
I work for the Horry County Sheriff's Office,
And how long have you worked there?
24 years.
What is your current position there?
I'm a lieutenant over electronic crimes.
What types of things does the electronic crimes unit do?
We take cell phones, computers, and digital evidence and analyze it to identify anything of evidentiary value.
How long have you been concentrating on electronic crimes?
Since 2010.
Did you receive any special training in order to work in electronic crimes or deal with electronic devices?
I have.
Can you describe what you've done?
I have been to the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center in Glencoe, Georgia, and seized computer evidence recovery and digital evidence acquisition specialist. I'm a member of the Secret Service Cyber Crimes Task Force. I've been to the Secret Service has trained me at National Computer Forensics Institute in Hoover, Alabama. I have various vendor trainings and certifications.
What's your educational background?
I have an associate's degree in information technology. I have a bachelor's degree in computer forensics and digital investigations, and I'm currently pursuing my master's in digital forensics.
How much longer do you have in your master's?
Hopefully December.
Okay.
Don't be like Shannon Burgess.
Do you teach any seminars or courses in digital forensics?
I do. I'm a subcontractor, and I teach Celebrate.
Teach what?
He teaches
Celebrate
Celebrate.
certifications.
Thank you. Are you also a member of this Attorney General's ICAC task force?
I am. I do computer forensics for the Attorney General's Office for Internet Crimes Against Children and Human Trafficking.
So, because you teach it, I am assuming you are familiar with the Celebrate software.
I am.
And can you tell us what it is?
The software works in a way to forensically pull the evidence or information off of a device and put it in a readable format so it's easier to go through and find stuff.
Is that readable format a report, like a Celebrate report?
It is. It's a UFED reader report that we generate with the software.
What do you mean UFED reader report? And then is that UFED?
It's universal forensic evidence device. It's used for there's two separate programs. There's one for the extraction, and then there's one once the extraction is off the device, it is parsed and analyzed and put into that readable format.
Is that readable format searchable by any user?
Yes, the Cellbrite reader, Cellbrite's proprietary, which you have to pay for a license, but the reader is a solution for the software to be able to give for free, so you can still go through it and look at the contents of the device.
Can you search by, for instance, a keyword or look for a photo?
Yeah, there's lots of different search criteria. You can search through words, hash values, and different other categories, and many different.
Has Celebrite been accepted as a forensic tool in courts across the country?
It has.
Are you, and again, you teach it, so I'm assuming that you've been trained in Celebrite.
I have.
Okay. How long specifically have you been using it?
How long?
I've been using Cellbrite close to 13 years, 14 years.
And you mentioned that you have certain vendor certifications. Do you have any certifications from Celebrite?
I do.
Can you tell us what they are?
I have a CCO, which is a certified Cellbrite operator, certified Cellbrite physical analyst. I'm a CASA, which is a advanced Cellbrite course for parsing and analyzation. And I also have what's called the CCME. I'm a certified Cellbrite mobile examiner, which is the highest certification that you can get within the company.
What is required to obtain those certifications?
You have to take the classes and pass a graded test.
Are you also familiar with a tool called Gregory Rice?
I am.
And what is that?
Gray key is another extraction tool. It is used to get the data from the device, the same as Cellbrite.
Have you been trained on using that tool?
I have.
And have you received any certifications in that?
Yes, I have the Gray key certified operator.
Approximately how many electronic devices have you examined using either Cellbrite and or Gray key?
I would venture into the thousands.
Okay.
Was that a weird noise in the court?
When you've said, talk about data on a phone, what do you mean?
Well, of course, when somebody uses a device and it has to have those records in ones and zeros. So it's anything that the user will interact with the device.
Hey, Honorable,
the system
yeah,
interacts with the device.
Got the docket like it's hot
to
hat.
Be able to see exactly what's on it. It kind of paints the picture of the data on the device.
And when you say extraction, what do you mean?
Well, because we can't you don't want to search a device on the device because then you're altering evidence. What we do is we forensically acquire that copy in order so we can manipulate and work with that, and then we can validate it and verify it against them.
Well, when you say manipulated, are you changing, are you changing any data in the extraction?
No, that was actually a very poor choice of words, but it's not manipulated, but it's to be able to go through it and, be able to see the different categories and see what is exactly there.
Have you ever been qualified as an expert in the field of digital forensics in South Carolina?
I have.
Approximately how many times?
Twice.
And were you asked to extract data from phones in this case?
I was.
Are you always able to extract data from a phone?
I am not.
What affects whether you can extract data from a phone?
Well, there's a lot of different things. It just depends. It could be encryption. It could be passcodes, the hardware, newer versions. We're always trying to fight. We all know that our cell phones, they come up with security updates all the time, and there's just a plethora of things that can keep us from getting in the device.
Are there different types of extractions?
There are.
What are they?
Well, a lot of, there are three basic ones, which is your physical extraction, which is a complete extraction, physical extraction of the ones and zeros, which has what's called unallocated space. That unallocated space is deleted material. Then there's file system extraction, and that's basically all the files that are in the file system, in the user file system. And then there's what it's called an advanced logical or logical, and it is basically what you see on the device.
Now, when you talk about unallocated space for deleted items, does that unallocated, and I may not be using the right terminology, but does that unallocated space ever like get written over so it would be potentially you would be losing deleted advice?
In a physical,
Deleted
yes, in a
information?
physical extraction, yes.
Your Honor, at this time I would offer Lieutenant Wells as an expert in digital forensics.
All right, any challenges or questions?
Yes, sir, a few questions. So,
It's worth noting if you miss some days of this trial, the defense and the state really have stipulated to a lot of things and streamlined this trial. But as far as we had an expert, actually I think the voir dire for the one expert yesterday might have been on day 2, but they carried into day 3. The defense is still fighting the qualification of both of the individuals that worked with any of the cell phone record data and like location, CSLI data, and the more informational extraction, such as the text messages and notes in any note applications, like emails. They're fighting that because I think with the text, we're going to get some insight into possible planning. And then obviously with the CSLI, the location, that would go to the element of, was Meagan at the scene of the crime? The state is alleging that the scene of the crime was the roadway into the Arrowhead living community, where, according to Christopher Dontell, they drive in. Gregory Rice is already walking on the street, and Megan's like, make a U-turn, and jumps out of the car and pew-pews him. So with this, I think we're going to be attacking, well, the state's going to try to establish intent and planning, and defense has to chip away at that if they can.
it's my understanding, I kind of get a feel for this. Which kind of extraction did y'all do? Physical or logical? What was the,
Whatever we can get.
which extraction did you do? Which type? The category?
It depends on which device we're talking about.
Okay. Which devices did you extract in this case?
Objection, Your Honor. I haven't even gotten to the extractions in this case. This is just about whether or not Lieutenant Wells is an expert.
All right. I sustain the objection.
Okay. All right, let me ask you this. In terms of, what I think I heard you say was you did some physical in this case and some logical, is that right?
It just,
Again, Your Honor.
I'm gonna allow that. Go ahead.
it depends on the device. If there's some devices with file-based encryption that you can't do a physical.
Okay. All right. Let's talk about your training. So you're still in the process of completing your training, is that right, in digital forensics? You're looking to get your master's?
Completing my master's, yes.
Yes, sir. Okay. In 2000, we're let's see, 4 years removed. So in 2020, where were you in your educational journey?
Completing my bachelor's.
You started it in 20, takes a while.
Well, maybe my associates in it. Maybe it could be. I'm not exactly sure when.
Okay.
But before that, I'd received trainings throughout from the Secret Service and throughout the Department of Homeland Security in order to further solidify everything. I wanted to put a official degree behind it.
Sorry, I didn't understand that response.
I had a lot of training beforehand.
Okay. All right. That's fair. And remind me what that training beforehand was specifically in.
Specifically I've done trainings in advanced cell phone forensic acquisitions, advanced cell phone analyzation, network intrusion, cyber intrusion.
Okay. And those things sound more to me like, it's just what I'm trying to understand. That training sounds like it is more related to finding out if somebody has committed like a cyber crime. Is that fair to say?
There are trainings within that do that, yes, but this is what we call dead box forensics or mobile forensics.
Okay. What specific training do you have related to extracting data from the phone?
From extracting, I have the CCO, CCPAs, which were week-long courses with the extraction. I did a 5-week course at the National Computer Forensics Institute in Hoover, Alabama, with the Secret Service to extract devices, and I also teach it.
Okay. Are you intending to offer any opinions in this case related to digital forensics?
If necessary.
Okay. Are you here to give us an opinion about the extraction itself, to just confirm the extraction, or are you going to give some other opinion beyond the extraction?
I got to be asked the questions first, right?
I don't know. I imagine you've gotten prepared for this, and you have an idea of what you're here to testify to, don't you, sir?
I do.
Okay. Because I don't have any kind
Ready.
of report from you. or
Look at
anything
his
or any
face.
that I'm aware of,
Run
any
that
kind of
back.
specific-
I think this is going to be good, whatever we get from this guy. Look at how he answers his question.
I don't know. I imagine
Not that
you've
part.
gotten prepared for this, and you have an idea of what you're here to testify to, don't you, sir?
I do.
Okay. Because I don't have any kind of report from you or anything, or any kind of, that I'm aware of, any kind of specific report.
Objection, Your Honor. The extraction report is the report, and that was provided years ago.
Okay, if that's what, that's, all right. If that's the basis, that gives me in the right direction. Okay, so now let's talk about the report itself. You, in your studies, are familiar with some of the issues with Cellbrite, right? Some of the public criticism of Cellbrite.
Elaborate.
Are you familiar with any of the criticisms of Cellbrite and its use in criminal investigations?
He did this with the other
there's
expert too.
criticisms on a lot of things. I mean, people have opinions on things. I'm not sure what you're asking.
Are you familiar with any of those criticisms?
I'm familiar with, people,
Defense
sometimes it's too
attorneys.
slow and it takes a long time to open. And
Are you
True.
familiar with the
I'm
criticisms
sure.
related to its reliability? Sir.
I'm not familiar with them.
Are you familiar with criticisms related to the inability to delete to recover certain deleted items?
Am I
God, are they
familiar
thinking
with?
of Haas
The
Long?
criticisms related to the fact that there can be deleted material from a phone that the Cellbrite program will not allow to be recovered.
Is this a Karen Reed reference? Guys. What? Oh my goodness. The way these trials intercept.
That's not necessarily would be an accurate statement because it's not necessarily the Cellbrite that's not
Gotcha.
able to recover it. There's too many variables within that would consist in not being able to recover data.
Okay. You'd agree with me, wouldn't you, that in terms of there is one of the other criticisms is that Cellbrite can be manipulated, right? You can manipulate the extraction. Agree with that?
Anything can be manipulated, but it's forensically sound through hash values and matching values to be able to ensure that data is not manipulated or changed at all.
So when a piece of evidence gets into a digital forensics expert's hands, they have an opportunity, they could manipulate that evidence before it's extracted.
I mean, it would take a lot of, it would be extremely geekified and able to do it.
Okay. But an expert would have that geekified intelligence.
Possible, but not probable.
Okay. Okay. All right. How about this cross-validation? Did you do anything in this case to cross-validate the extractions that you performed?
I did. I validated the information by going into databases and looking at the actual information and being able to look in other softwares too.
Okay, now I want to make sure I understand this. Are you telling me, the jury, that you looked at every image on these phones?
Absolutely not.
Okay. All right. What did you review?
I reviewed different things that were evidentiary value that were brought to me from the detectives.
Okay, so you looked at cherry-picked portions of the extraction, is that what you're telling me?
I validated it.
Okay, so I just want to understand what was going on here. They give you a portion of an extraction, and then you would go validate that? Is that what you're telling me?
They would. It's impossible for me to know exactly every detail of an investigation. That's what the reader is. It's a force multiplier. So in an event where there are massive amounts of data in a cell phone, and being one person being able to go through that, it's not just. You can't do that. It's designed to be a force multiplier so many people can collaborate and be able to come up with the evidence that is needed in the case, and then it is validated by me.
Okay. And so we're in agreement that in terms of whatever evidence, if this evidence is in its pure original form, it is too voluminous to even be studied in completeness.
Objection. What evidence? I'm not really sure.
The extraction. Did you hear that?
But that's why it's categorized and used into the Cellbrite reader, so it's able to be viewed.
Okay.
If you're looking at it as on a computer with a folder and you're trying to go through it by looking at folders, you will never be able to get through everything. Apps are sandboxed, so everything is, within its own app. So that's where the Cellbrite software is able to parse it, categorize it, and make it where you can read it, and you're able to search.
And do you have any? Is Cellbrite software something you have any control over?
Control as.
I'm sorry. Do you know the methodology? Have you been involved in any way, shape, or form with the software Cellbrite, other than using it in terms of like its creation?
No.
Okay. Any of its algorithms? Cellbrite has not shared that. Isn't that correct?
It's proprietary.
And so you're having to put your confidence in the actual software and program, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can't independently verify that the program itself is not flawed.
That's not true.
Okay, that's not true. I'm asking.
Yeah, you can go validate. I can validate the information. I can go into the databases and make sure that it's reporting the correct information.
Okay. But you can't validate the software itself, right?
That is validating that the software is doing what it's supposed to do.
Okay. Well, the software gives you a product, right? An extraction.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How can you validate it?
I can look at the device.
Sorry?
You can look at the device, but I mean, it's large, yeah.
Okay. So it is extremely difficult, would you agree, to cross-validate the device?
No.
You can cross-validate it in small portions. Is that what you're telling me?
No, I can generate a hash for the entire extraction. And that's what Cellbrite does, is it'll generate.
Objection, Your Honor. I'd like him to allow the witness to answer the question. I believe Lieutenant Wells was still
All
talking.
right, finish your answer.
Well,
Hash values are a fingerprint. What this does, it's an algorithm. There's certain ones, MD5, SHA-1, SHA-256, and these are basically fingerprints of the entire extraction. And they are generated, and as long as they are any type of manipulation, any type of change whatsoever to that, will completely change the hash value of the extraction. So that's how we ensure that evidence hasn't been manipulated, and that what we're working with is correct.
Okay. But the body that might be potentially manipulating it, the agency or the department, is you guys going to extracted this, you didn't, this wasn't sent to a third party to verify the extraction. You were doing it in-house, correct?
I don't understand what you mean, third party.
Well,
Technically, I am a third party. I mean, I'm with the sheriff's office. This was a county police investigation.
Okay. So I'm not saying you're not
Isn't it nice for a witness to be able to say what agency they're actually doing this work under? It's so refreshing.
SLED, right? Like, DNA samples, we send those over to SLED. Is that?
Correct.
Now,
We're still in
you've been
Vondier.
Qualified how many times?
Twice so far.
Okay. And what were you qualified as in those two cases?
I was qualified as an expert in digital forensics, and I was qualified as digital extractions. I think it was digital extractions.
Okay. And so those are two different subsets of qualifications. Is that what you're telling me?
The digital extraction would be part of digital forensics. So the first time I was qualified would have been digital extractions, and then the digital forensics encompasses all of that.
Okay. Let me just make sure I understand. Digital extractions and digital forensics, which one's the big umbrella?
Forensics.
Forensics, okay. And you've been qualified as an expert in digital forensics one time?
And one time for that, yes.
And then a second, and then one time for the smaller category of digital extraction?
Yes, sir.
In the case where you were qualified as an expert in digital extraction, what program was used in that case for extraction?
Celebrate.
Have you ever been denied as a witness?
I have not.
Have you ever testified in federal court?
No,
Were you qualified in the 15th Circuit as an expert?
I was.
And in those two instances, what was how many phones were you asked to extract in those cases?
I don't recall.
Your Honor, I believe, based on my experience, I would agree that I would strike this witness as an expert.
All right. I find this witness to be an expert in the field of digital forensics, so we become this.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Did you extract data from at least one device in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Was that, well, actually, let me just. Your Honor, if I may approach with admitted exhibit 19. And actually, let me give you the extraction also. Approaching with State's Exhibit 92, which I would ask to be marked for identification only. Admitted for identification only.
May I refer to my notes?
Yeah, SDS.
Your
that
Honor, may the
was-
witness refer to his
that
notes
was
to verify
403.
that that is the phone.
This guy's name is Ben Wells, Tara. Good to see you. He's bringing in like text messages and that type of qualitative data from a cell phone extraction.
Yes, this is the phone.
Okay, just make sure you keep your voice up, please.
Yes, this is the phone,
Okay.
the device.
And how are you verifying that?
Well, first of all, each device has a unique identifier, which is IMEI, International Mobile Equipment Identifier, or identity.
Slow down a little bit. We're trying to type everything down.
Sorry. And that's basically a unique identifier for the device. which I cross-referenced that with the report that's in front of me, or the pictures that are in front of me with the device. I have documented pictures of when I did the extraction, and I verified that the IMEI number is the same.
And so is 92 the extraction of data that you performed from State's Exhibit 19?
Yes. And
Did you? Yeah.
yes, it is.
And how are you verifying that that is the extraction that you performed?
I validated it before court and initialed this.
Okay. Thank you. Do you need to keep this in front of you just so you're sure what we're talking about?
Yeah, that's fine.
Is there a phone number associated with that phone?
Yes, ma'am, there is. 1513-252-4742.
Okay. So the
He's
area code
with
is
the
513,
sheriff's
the one in
office.
front of it.
Yes.
Okay. Are there any unique personal identifiers associated with the phone? So not the IMEI, but other identifiers?
The owner's name is Mouse, and I believe this was also backed up to a MacBook Pro with the user of Meagan Jackson.
Where did you get that phone?
It was given to me by Horry County evidence.
Did they also give you the password to the phone?
Yes, they did.
Hey,
Were you
Crystal, good
able
to
to
see you.
extract data from the phone? Well, obviously you were able to extract data because you've identified that already. When you performed the extraction, did you add, change, or delete any information?
I did not.
What did you do once you performed that extraction?
Once I performed the extraction, I took the extraction and I parsed the data in the physical analyzer, which is the program to categorize it to make it more easy to search.
Did you then provide that to the solicitor's office for disclosure and discovery?
I did.
Were you asked, I'm going to jump ahead 1 second, were you asked to examine that extraction and another extraction for specific content?
I was.
Was that other extraction that you were asked to review done by Sergeant Marcus?
Yes, one of them was.
I'm approaching with admitted exhibit 95. Is that the extraction of Erica Dontell's phone that you reviewed?
The evidence ASMR.
It is.
How are you recognizing it?
I recognized my signature or initials on the jump drive before or after I reviewed the content.
Now, I think Mr. Britton covered that those extractions are fairly voluminous. So for the items that you were asked to examine, did you prepare excerpts of those voluminous reports?
Yes, I did.
So were you asked to examine, let's start with Exhibit 95, the extraction from Erica Dontell's phone. Were you asked to examine that extraction for any information on her phone of someone trying to expose the affair between the defendant and Christopher Dontell?
I was.
Did you find any?
I did.
And before I get to your first excerpt, does Celebrite categorize data in much the same manner as your actual phone? So it would separate, say, photos, calls, messages?
It does.
yet is being reduced. There's character evidence on this.
Where is this identified?
Exhibit 98, Your Honor, is an excerpt of an already admitted extraction.
Big thank you, Jenny. So guys, earlier in the stream, Jenny wanted to gift some memberships, but I assumed you had Apple, and it seems like you do have Apple. She says, poo on Apple, couldn't gift, so here you go. So big thank you to Jenny for supporting the channel. I don't know why Apple just doesn't play nice with the gifts and the membership options. Oh, and Jenny says, thanks, Kat, for all you do. I'm going to figure out a way to gift. Until then, a slime out. Aw. Well, big thank you here, Jenny. Thanks. I'm so glad that you're hanging out live because this trial is crazy. Crazy. And I can't wait to see these texts. Oh, we're breaking. Okay, wait. Shortly? All right. We're confused too. What is he looking at? No, there is no burrito in this court. Nobody. Oh, we have a water pour. It's behind the chat. We have a water pour. But there is no Viverito in this case. There we go. Good sip of water there. But yeah, the prosecution, the prosecutor that's doing the questioning here, she just doesn't seem like she can read the room. She doesn't know when to stop pushing on an issue that the judge has already ruled on. And we also, when the victim's daughter testified, she was shaking and crying, and I just don't feel like this prosecutor knew how to show empathy. So that was rough to see her question that witness. Oh, and STS, thank you so much. STS is gifting 5 and said, Jenny, I did the gifted memberships for you. So big thank you again to Jenny, and super thank you, STS, coming in clutch here. That's 15 gifted memberships from STS, so make sure you're thanking him if you're suddenly green.
Your Honor, while we're doing that, if I can approach Lieutenant Wells.
Correct. Yeah.
I'm showing you State's Exhibit 98. Is that an excerpt that you prepared regarding information that word of the affair was sent to Erica Dontell?
It is.
Your Honor, at this time, with the redaction, I would move to admit State's Exhibit 98.
All right, State's Exhibit 98 admitted into evidence over defendant's objection, subject to the redaction corrected by.
Yes, and I've redacted the physical.
No
copy.
socks.
I'm just waiting on redaction of the digital copy.
That's fine.
No socks today,
in what
chat.
part of the phone did you find that evidence?
This was located in the MMS SMS database.
What's that? For those of us who don't speak that language.
Everything has to be, information is stored in databases, so it's accessible by the applications. And this is where a database is a large Excel spreadsheet, essentially. And it's separated into columns and rows. And this is where it stores that information on the back end to where the application or the device can show it to you the way you see it.
I'm sorry.
Like, I know we can't see the prosecutor, but I feel like she's like klutzy over there right
Where's the
now.
motions? I'm just trying to make sure
Look at it.
that the redaction's done.
Is that another water pour? I think we got a water pour that we couldn't see,
And I'm sorry.
but I don't know.
Can you describe what Exhibit 98 is?
This is a excerpt from an instant message conversation.
Your Honor, I have verified the extraction. May we publish Exhibit 98?
Yes.
And so what, are you able to tell what program was used to send these messages?
From the party, the from party, it's registering as contact@textforfree.net.
Are you familiar with Text for Free?
I am.
Can you describe to the jury what it is?
Text for Free it's a texting application that you can use if you don't have cellular service. It's used to be send text anonymously to where it can't be brought back to you.
Okay, you want to zoom in on the first one. Does that show when the first text was received?
Yes, the direction was incoming, so it came in 9/27/2020 at 3:35:27 p.m.
And what is that first text?
Your number is posted on the special ed curriculum. I thought you should know I found out your husband has someone else pregnant.
And what's the next text?
The girl that is pregnant is Meagan. Ask her. Then redacted.
Let me go back to the first text that was sent at 3:35 p.m. And I'm going to show you.
Hey, JC from the D. Your Honor, I'm approaching the State's Exhibit 156. Is that an excerpt of the extraction from Erica Dontell's phone showing a reaction to the first text for free message?
Yes.
Your Honor, at this time I would move to admit State's Exhibit 156 in public.
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
You say yes?
Yes, sir, Your Honor. Yeah, yes, sir.
State's Exhibit 166, admitted into evidence without objection.
And this again was from Erica Dontell's phone.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there a date and time stamp for that first text message? This needs to move as fast as possible. We have an emergency.
Yes, ma'am.
And what is it?
I'm sorry.
What is the date and time stamp?
9/27/2020 at 3:40.
So about 5 minutes after that first text for free text?
That's correct.
Okay. after that, first text at 3:35, did texts continue to come in from the Text for Free app?
After the 3:35, yes.
When was the next one?
5:45, 23 p.m.
And what does that text say?
The girl that is pregnant is Meagan. Ask her, question mark.
When did the next text come in?
The next text would have been at 7:25 on 9/27.
And what does that say?
Meagan Jackson, Chris Dontell, Savannah Rice, Josephina Nakawatsa, Flight 4652 Myrtle Beach, September 24th, 7:01 a.m. Flight 1944, Jacksonville, 10.
What was the next text?
Next one's 7:25 on 9/27. Ask her neighbors how often his, it's cut off on this one.
And why would the text message be cut off like that? Why weren't you able to recover the whole thing?
Well, this is in a timeline, so it would have cut it off. It could have. There's a lot of different reasons that it couldn't have pulled it.
What's the next text?
It's a link for https://ibb.co/BQHR82R.
Okay, and what is IBB?
IBB is a image hosting site.
What do you mean?
Well, if you want to share an image or without directly sending the image, you can upload it to the site. It'll create a link for you, and then you can just send that hyperlink.
Did you, in fact, follow that link or type that link into a browser and try and pull it up?
I did.
We got it pour. We got to pour. You just acting incredulous, like, I don't know if this is.
Are you just identifying this, or are you trying to?
I'm trying to admit it.
You know, I'm having a hard time reading it. It's just difficult for me to see the print's very small. You know, I may need a second outside of evidence to the jury to decipher this. I can't read it. Give a.
Let me see it.
Do you think this is like for real? He does wear glasses. Let's see if the judge can read it.
Your Honor, I'm going to approach also with 90B, which is.
I mean, it's a valid issue if it's difficult for the average reader to read. But at the same time, if she's going to propose alternatively, when they model, you have like the green and the blue text bubbles as images. I think that would make it easier to decipher the who's who, and that's probably not going to be beneficial for the defense. So he picked an issue to cherry pick.
Jury room with the notepad and the jury box, I'm not discussing that.
So now they're going to resolve this. Watch them get the nice images in instead of the plain text, which if these texts are bad for Meagan, I think the boring to read, the more difficult thing to read would be what the defense should want in. 'Cause, I mean, the valid issue if it's difficult for the average reader to read. But at the same time, if she's going to propose alternatively, I think that would make it easier to decipher the who's who, and that's probably not going to be beneficial for the defense. So he picked an issue to cherry pick. So now they're going to resolve this. Watch them get the nice images in instead of the plain text, which if these texts are bad for Meagan, I think the boring to read, the more difficult read would be what the defense should want in. And yeah, that cup is way too small. That cup is small. Right, like you would think, even if he in particular didn't have one, maybe bring one with you, or
which is the same text conversation from someplace else, without asking my questions, but this version is easier to read.
Okay, all right, that's the thing, is this is so small.
Right, but this is from the website. This is from the website, so we can't control the
98A.
call. 98A is from the IMGBD website, so that's how it pulls up. We have no control over the clarity of that.
But I mean, if I can't read it, how can the jury read it?
Because this is the same conversation, and you can match up the readable portions of the blue portions here. I think
Okay.
are the ones that are difficult.
So 98B
B,
is just a larger printed form of 98A.
from a different source. It'll be clear after I ask my questions, but,
Well, let's proffer it then.
okay, all right. I'm just gonna give you 98A and 98B. All right, so is 98A the image that you accessed using that IDD link?
It is. It is.
Just have to say that out loud. And then, were you able to find that same text conversation in the defendant's phone?
I was.
Is that what's depicted in 98B?
It is.
And how are you able to tell that it is the same text conversation?
Well, I can actually kind of turning over B. I can read it. I make it a point of spending time with you, and I love spending time with you. I like to have sex with you. I make it a point of avoiding Erica, and she makes me sick. And I don't have sex with her. There isn't a comparison. So I can
And your
actually
anniversary was
identify the
yesterday.
first text message, and then when I come to the report,
oh my God, look at Megan. Look at me.
or
Girl.
And you remember,
Pick
if
yourself
can
up.
you pull up the digital version of 98A? Ms. Waller has it on her computer, and it appears more legible than the printed version.
Well, I mean, how do I know that that's that? I mean, 98A, I'm looking at it, and I can see the first thing, the dark blue, that's printed in light blue, I can't.
Well, you'll be able to tell it.
Your Honor, we'd be able to,
Hold for a second. You're gonna have, I mean, I don't have any problem with the way the proper testimony.
I understand that. The only problem I would have with proper testimony is I don't really understand, but maybe it's just me, where he is claiming that message, whatever he was just reading involved sex, where it came from. Because that sounds like it's not part of the extraction, which is what he was qualified to testify about.
Well, I understand the second one, 98B, came off the first vote.
Right, so-
That's supposed.
That's
I didn't mean to interrupt you. You're right.
Right.
So, Exhibit 98 was the text for free texts that were sent to Erica Dontell. One of those texts contained an IDD link. So, in order to show that that text conversation existed in the defendant's phone, Lieutenant Wells just typed in that link, like anyone can do. Like, this is what you would get if you typed in that link. And it pulled up that photo of the text conversation. Then he looked for that text conversation on the defendant's phone. Does that make sense?
Yes,
Your
So
Honor,
that's sort of what we're trying to prove.
I understand.
I don't, don't be disrespectful, but I feel like you should be excused during this conversation.
No, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna allow it.
Hold on, could I just be heard on it? I think what they're trying to do, as I'm hearing on now, and I think it's extremely prejudicial and very misleading. If they're attempting to say that Meagan Jackson sent the anonymous message to Greg Rice through this conversation, which is about sex, which is unrelated, and that is extremely misleading and improper.
Well,
I'm gonna overrule it, I'll allow it.
Okay.
thank you.
Could I have some time to try to read that myself?
We're also trying to reprint it, but if you wanted to look on these computers.
You can definitely read them.
And John, just while I'm having a chance here, as we're in the break, this isn't anything in terms of a confrontation clause issue. This is not a position. Nowhere in their report have we ever been provided any kind of summary or conclusion or idea that was sent by Meagan Jackson, that the anonymous message was the machination of Meagan Jackson. That is a new position they have taken at the start of this trial. And now they've come in and qualified an expert to try to link that without having any opportunity to confront that. It's completely improper.
Overruled, I'll allow it.
Okay. Thank you, Ron. May I go approach this computer for a second?
Just in case anyone was wondering, on October 2nd, 2020, it was a waning gibbous.
All right, we need to take a break or anything before we bring the jury back in.
Yes, sir.
Yes, we're just trying to print it downstairs so that it's in color, perhaps more readable.
It's just to a better printer. I think it'll come out clear, Your Honor.
How long of a break do we need?
5 or
10 minutes.
10 to be safe, I would say,
All
right?
right, let's take a 10-minute break. We'll come back. Dr. Wells, you can now discuss your testimony. Okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, we'll break for 10 minutes.
Let's go downstairs.
Alrighty. So I was just over here looking at the moon, wondering what was going on between September 27th-ish, when we're starting to see these anonymous messages come in, and October 2nd, which is supposedly when Gregory Rice was shot. But yeah, I agree with you guys. You guys have your stories in here, you know, Crystal with the nursing home. And then JC from the D says, ask any ER nurse about full moons. Oh my God, the stories. I had them too when I was working in restaurants, in a restaurant. Just whatever would go on the night of a full moon in the restaurant would just be, we'd all be like, what is going on? And finally someone would be like, it's a full moon. Like every month, every 28 days. So, and yes, today is Friday the 13th. Today is Friday the 13th. Oh, wait, did I miss a notepad instruction?
All right, any further state before we bring the jury in?
No, Your Honor, other than we have put 98, 98A, and 98B on a flash drive. I've given a duplicate to the defense because it's easier to read on there, so this one will be for the jury.
All right. Anything from the defense before we bring the jury in?
That's right, Your Honor.
All right, let's bring the jury in.
Do we need to attend some of that?
Yeah, the caption have been wrong.
Yeah.
They try their best.
90. Your Honor, would you like me to replace the, well, I'll label this also as exhibits 98 A and B, or I'm not sure how to.
Oh.
Well, I mean, I guess we can figure that out later, because we'll be projecting the digital version, which I think is more clear, and that's what's on here. And then
I want to apologize for keeping you in the jury room for so long, but we did have some matters we needed to address. All right, State can continue with your direct examination.
okay, can you bring up 98 again? Yeah, that's okay. So this line 8, this, because we did take a long break, can you explain IDB.co again to the jury?
IBB.co, it's imgbb.com. It's
Slow
based.
down a little bit.
It's a web hosting for images. You can upload an image. It'll create a link to be able to share it.
Do you know whether those links are ever duplicated? In other words, would two, okay, you're answering. So there would not be, say someone uploaded BQHR82R, and then do they have the ability to take it down?
Yes, they can. I believe it can be taken down.
And then if someone else uploaded an image, would that file name ever be reused?
No.
So looking at line 8, did you go to that link, 8idd.co, with that file name?
I did.
Okay. And is that what's depicted in 98A in front of you?
It is.
Your Honor, I would ask that 98A be admitted.
All right, who's good?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
State exhibit 98A, admitted into evidence without objection.
And may it be published, Your Honor.
All right.
Thank you. Okay. And so down here where it says image link, what is that?
The image link. Well, image link is the address, basically the same as the web address. It's the web address for that image
So
and the
that's
page.
the link that was contained in the text for free text?
Yes, that is.
Okay. Can you show the text itself? And then zoom in a little bit.
Okay, so now instead of reading it, we get to see it. Poor Erica. This has to be the prosecutor causing a delay. Like, she is moving so slowly through this.
Were you able to find this same text conversation on the defendant's phone?
I was.
Is that what's depicted in 98B that you have in front of
It is.
you? And Your Honor, at the time I asked that 98B be admitted and published.
Did you guys? Are they gonna read it?
Exhibit 98B is admitted into evidence without objection.
Please read it, because we're gonna get there's a great text on there.
We'll go page by right page, just so, I'm gonna get it up. All right, so what is this first page of 98B showing you?
This first page is, there's multiple extractions for multiple devices. This is just identifying the device that the information came from.
And so which device did this come from?
This would come from the phone number 513-252-4742 and the IMEI last 5862.
Right, is that, and there's no snake, so is that the defendant's sign?
It is.
Yes?
It is.
Okay. And, just the first couple holes. So, and is this, are you able to print out text conversations sort of in different formats from the cell, right? So like this is, I always call it the bubbles,
Yeah.
because I like the bubbles better.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And did you compare this text conversation in 98B with the one in 98A?
I did.
And they appear to be the same?
They are.
And what is the date of this text conversation?
9/15/2020.
I can. That's just a thing, which extractions, so
Prosecutor, come on.
this- Your Honor, if I may approach with State's Exhibit 100.
I'm trying to have them read these text messages.
Did
It's
you
been forever,
look
and they're not reading
through
them.
the extraction from the defendant's phone to see if there was any, I'll call it IDD or IMGBB activity on her phone?
I did.
Did you see any evidence of such activity on her phone?
I did.
Is that what's depicted in Exhibit 100?
It is.
Is that an excerpt from the full extraction?
It is.
Your Honor, that's the Exhibit 100 be admitted.
Mr. Your Honor.
United States Exhibit 100 admitted into evidence without objection.
May be published, Your Honor.
Yes.
Okay, can you just explain to the jury what they're looking at?
In the readable format, it puts it, you'll see where types is. That, it came from the notes application.
Like this?
And the, I'm sorry?
I was just showing, because some jurors are looking over here, so.
Oh, I'm sorry. So the event is that is the contents within the notes, and this is a list of different IBB.co web pages and web addresses.
I'm sorry. Okay, did you then, does this tell you when that list was created?
9/27/2020, 7/01/56.
And what does the modified date and time mean?
It's whenever, the created date was whenever the actual file was created, but the modified could be when it was changed or deleted.
Did you then go to each individual IDD.co link to see what was there?
I did.
For some bullets. Sorry, Your Honor, there are quite a few links. When you went to those individual links, did you create exhibits of each link?
I did.
Your Honor, you can see I can hand pretty decent number of exhibits. I'll take the best of it through, which is, I'm just going to keep everybody away.
But these are simply those links that were provided many years ago, just plugged into a search engine.
Very empty gallery.
Your Honor, just my initial, without going through each one of these is, there's no date on these documents. I don't know what date this is pretending to have been from.
Pretending?
How are we identifying those?
Your Honor, so that would be 100 A through S, I believe it is. And each exhibit corresponds in order to the IDB.co files that are listed in that notepad.
I just want to make sure I understand, is it the testimony that says created on 9/27/2020, that all of these were created on that date? Is anybody, okay, yeah.
She's just showing you what she's getting ready to show the witness and have them testify to it.
Yeah, Tara a little bit.
Unfortunately, there's some things we need to take up outside of the jury based here. I hate it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll shoot you back to the jury room, leave your notepads in the box.
Hey, truth always wins. Aw, good to see you.
Yes, sir.
I asked earlier, Cass, if it was the same suit,
It appears that.
but I was talking about him.
That the testimony is going to be these are all created on 9/27. I don't know if that's accurate or not. Two, as I'm looking through this, there's some there's some protest stuff in here. For instance, ultrasound images, the way those things are discussed related to abortion. Again, I hadn't gone through them all yet, just to.
We'll go through all of them and let me know what your objections are.
Thank you.
Just bring me the ones that you object to.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so are there two repeat suits? Because I think his jacket's at least familiar, and maybe this is the same one from 2 days ago. Dun dun dun. He's just swinging his glasses. Oh my gosh. What would be really crazy is if these text messages make it look like she thinks that Meagan thinks Christopher's not that into her. So her idea to entrap him is either baby or we're stuck in a murder cover-up together. So STS says creation data can sometimes be found in a web page metadata. You have to look for it by showing headers for what it's worth. I think, can this also be confusing if it's like a content management system that lets you change the publishing date? I do want to watch their facial expressions play out. Look at the other prosecutor just like, come on, bro. He's like, I can't find any viable flaws, Your Honor.
What?
That which, no.
All right.
Well, they're still my exhibit, so I can be able to see what they're doing.
I mean, this is the type of thing that, like, other judges, I'm surprised he hasn't gotten there yet, but they could have had this issue hashed out before they had this witness on the stand. Because like it sounds like the prosecutors produced this report, this extraction, in 2022. So at the very least, they should have raised an issue, any issue they had with the readability of the extraction in 2022. By raising that now, and now the prosecution's offering an alternative, there's a separate issue, but that could have been hashed out if that was resolved back then. So this isn't the same to me as YSL, where they didn't get this extraction until the day of. And the defense attorneys had no choice but to realize in the moment, no, there's actually an issue with the way this would be presented to the jury. No, Sabata, I'm so serious, right? Sabata says I'm hopping on and off the stream and I come back to the classic love stance, but in blonde and purple. I mean, yeah, I agree these issues should be raised, but I just don't see how they're raising this issue now without believing that it's in part gamesmanship for the jury to feel like there's something suspicious about these cell phone extractions. Like, we can't attack the contents of them, so we're going to try to dispute the extraction in any way, shape, or form. But some of those issues are something that you dispute before the witness is on the stand testifying. Especially when you had the extraction for 2 years, 3 years. Yeah, it looks like this takes a bit of time. Hey, Belinda. We can skip slowly and see if there's, like, any sound that comes in. She's just shaking her head. I wonder if she can actually hear. Like, they muted us, but maybe it's audible to her.
100A2 through 100S2 are essentially the same images, but retrieved from the defendant's phone. So it's the same images, just showing that these images that were uploaded to IBD, excuse me.
Oh, I can slow down again, sorry.
All right. Anything further from the defense before we bring the jury in?
If you want to hear me now on the foundation plan, or should we try to lay that? She laid the foundation yet, Your Honor?
Haven't laid the foundation yet, no.
Just my general objection to it under Rule 403.
All right. Anything further from the state before we bring the jury in?
No, Your Honor.
All right, let's bring the jury in.
All right, so that seems like nothing isn't coming in. I think the defense just dragged that out. We're getting it all in, subject to foundation being laid. You've honestly just missed a lot of drawn out issues with, we don't think the jury can read this exhibit. The print is too small. Well, we have this alternative way for them to view it. Well, there's no dates displaying here. Well, if you follow through the different pages, the dates are there. They just don't continue along because it's the iPhones. And the jury was only in for a little bit so far today. But we're getting into the text messages between, that announced the anonymous pregnancy, and also some text messages between Meagan and Christopher Dontell.
Right on the table, so you get a low connection, and then also the screen is extended, so if it shows up and it looks like it's not showing up on these screens, just connect to the red.
Shout out to Flush of the Gods.
Oh, it's opposite. This ought to be.
They need Fogs in the courtroom because he could make the stuff readable. Blast it on screen with the AI voice reader.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Make sure you have your own note cards. All right, you can continue with direct examination.
Thank you, Your Honor. Let me just go back to this. So you went over that this shows that it was created on September 27th, modified on 10/2. First of all, what is the significance of the date of October 2nd in this case?
That'd be after the crime.
Pardon me?
Be after the crime.
The date.
The after the crime.
And then the modified date and the fact that it's showing deleted and trash, what does that mean?
That's most likely, that's when it was modified and the file was moved to the trash.
Now, when in the course of your analysis, review of these items, did you go to each individual IDB.co link?
I did.
Did you create printouts of what you found at each link?
I did.
If someone went to that link today, in all likelihood, would that image still be there?
It will.
Your Honor, at this time, I would like to approach with exhibits 100A through 100S. If you can review those, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Are those the printouts that you created from each of those links?
They are.
If we could start with 100A, please.
Wait a minute, put that over in the others.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you. Your Honor, I move for addition of exhibits 100A through 100S. I apologize.
All right, states exhibits 100A through 100S submitted in the evidence of the defendant's objection.
Your Honor, ma'am, just take one more objection. I haven't had a chance to state yet. I want to have a chance to lay the foundation. This says created on 9/27. This witness cannot and has not testified to the date those images were actually created. That is not an accurate date in terms of creation of those documents. And he can't, it's impossible for that to be true.
100A through 100S submitted in the evidence of the defendant's objection.
Okay, and just to clarify, that created date, is that for the notepad entry?
Yes, that would be the date that the note was created, not the links.
Okay. So let's, may I have publish them, Your Honor? I apologize.
Yes.
100A, please. Okay. So, can you just explain what we're seeing here, and especially the bottom part, if you need us to scroll down, that's what we can do that.
Use my little.
And you can use your pointer,
Use
and
my
that
pointer.
should show up on all the TVs. I think that you, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Well, you use that one, it might be easier for you, and it'll show up on all the screens.
Okay. All right. This right here is from the link. If you can, Your Honor, may I stand up with the screen?
All right, as long as you got it in your microphone, or what portion you pick up the testimony.
This right here is the image link. This is the same as the link that is in the notepad. And this would be the file name. And The embedded code is the link in the HTML where you would represent the web page or when you would share the document.
Sorry, I just need to, if I can correct you, some different information. Okay. There is, next to the embed codes, well, I'll come over here. You want to know. There's something that says about. Does that have the potential to give you more information about that image?
It does.
Okay, so we're going to page of this exhibit. Is this the information that comes up when you click that about link?
It is. This is exit data, which is
Can you spell that for the court workers?
exit is EXIF.
And what does that mean?
It's extra data that is about the image. It's basically data about data. It contains things from the date and time of the original, the manufacturer of the camera, GPS coordinate location. So when you get that information, you can also go back and you can tell even up to the exposures, whether the flash was on, and just a lot of information about the image itself.
So for 100A, does it first tell you, let's start with the date and time of the original.
The date and time of the original was 9/29/17/01/21.
So September 29th at 5:01, sorry, I did subtract 12.
That's correct.
Okay. Does this tell you what type of camera took that phone?
It does.
Took that photo, excuse me. What kind?
The manufacturer was Apple, and it was a model iPhone XS Max.
What is the model of the defendant's phone that you extracted?
iPhone XS Max.
Well, I'll go through all these things in this first, and then we'll just go through the next set. Where applicable, because you have the hard copies, if there is that extra data, just.
Would you like to see that? Is it okay if I send it here? Just want to see your receipt.
Yours.
Just don't
I'm
log
locking it. I'm locking it.
All right, go ahead.
So if you can go to 100B, and as I said, if you were able to get that extra data, just let us know.
I was.
Okay. And what can you tell us about this image?
This image is also one of the the image link was included in the notes. I can also say that it was the manufacturer of the camera that took this picture was an Apple iPhone XS Max, and the date and time of the original is 9/29/17/01/27.
And if you can just, sorry, can you say September 29th in the time? Otherwise, it's like a
September.
whole lot of numbers, and I want to make sure we're getting the date and the time separate.
September 29th.
Okay. Just roll it to the 30 so they can see. Okay. And that's where you were getting that date created and that camera?
That is
information?
correct.
Okay. 100C. What can you tell us about this image?
Again, same, this is image link. The image was from the notepad on the device. And again, the manufacturer was an Apple. The model was an iPhone XS Max. And the date and time of the original is September 29th, 17/01/2020.
And just to save time, when you are giving us that information, that means that that third page is there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. 100D.
Also in the notes, this was an Apple iPhone XS Max. This was created on September 29th, 17/01/2020.
I have a lot of demand. I'm going to ask that you wait until the exhibit goes up.
So I'm pretty sure they're still just going to go through this one by one and lay the foundation for each of the messy sheets of paper to match it with what they're able to display through the thumb drive. If they don't end up reading through this, we'll read them, you guys. But I'm pretty sure because of the weird issues with the readability and them trying to compromise with being able to read it on screen and still use the printed exhibits, they've got to go like one by one in a really grueling process. But I promise we'll read them if he doesn't.
Sorry.
Gonna have me up here talking about his balls. Fun text messages. And I don't think the prosecutor's very good at getting the next thing on the screen.
It's also from the notepad and the link. This was also created with Apple iPhone XS Max, and it was created on September 29th, 2020 at 17:02.
Peter, you can spoil that. They'll end up reading these, right? Like actually reading through them for us. This just looks like it's going to take forever. Because she had a stack of papers. Oh boy. Happy Friday, Peter.
Again, this is from the notepad, and this was also created with an Apple iPhone XS Max, and this was created 9/29/1702, 2020, or September 29th, 1702.
Oh, chat. If this is a very religious jury, this is why it could teeter into character evidence
From the
territory.
notepad, this is an Apple iPhone XS Max, and this was created 1703, September 29th, 2020. Again, from the notepad, notes app, Apple iPhone XS Max, created on 1703 on September 29th, 2020. Again, from the notes app,
What?
it's a manufacturer's Apple iPhone XS Max.
Oh boy.
Date and time is September 29th, 2020 at 1703.
No, Peter, I don't think this strategy is working. I think this is just, as a juror, I'd be impatient, and it would only give me, like, more curiosity about the messages. That's just me personally, guys. If you're not, I should read the chat. Peter's saying the defense is delaying
Again,
this
from the notes app.
by challenging and objecting to everything. Do you think it works? I don't think it works. Maybe try it a little bit. Make sure the exhibit's gravy. Maybe cast doubt on the credibility, the authenticity of the exhibit. But the more you drag it out, the more it seems like you're hiding something or want to hide something. And then I want to know what it is more.
Again, it was Apple iPhone XS Max, September 29th at 1703, 2020.
Yeah, Violet says it's not working.
At the top of this
Big Play Bray,
photograph,
it's not working.
There appears to be a phone number, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
There's a P word in here, but it's not the
Could
P
be.
word I thought it would be.
Who that phone number belongs to?
I'm not sure, no.
100K.
100K. That is also a link from the Notepad app, or Notes app. And this also came from an iPhone XS Max on September 29, 2020 at 17:03.
L.
I feel like these are spoilers at this point, and I don't know if I want to comment on them, seeing them on the
Again,
screen.
from the Notes app. And it's also an Apple iPhone XS Max.
Oh.
The date and time is September 29th, 2020, 17:03. Again, from the Notes app, Apple iPhone XS Max.
Are there... All right, Peter, I'll give you a spoiler opportunity. Oh, I just jumped anyway. Perfect timing. Is there any exciting, like, arguments that happen here? Or do they just go page by page? Because, chat, if you're on board, we can move past the foundation and then go ahead to when he's actually doing the readings. So, put a 1 in the chat if you want to skip the foundation being laid. Put a 2 in the chat if you want to see if there's any spicy things that happen that maybe we would skip. And we'll just take a little vote. A little vote. Jeannie, you're really not late. They've been going through a wonky foundation being laid for 1 page at a time. Yeah, everyone says 1, let's do it, guys. So, Jeannie, you were here right in time.
And that's where you were getting that date created and that camera?
That is
information?
correct.
Okay. 1 minute. So far, pretty much all on the same day around the same time?
Yes, ma'am. Safari.
Can you explain what that means?
A temporary file it's where an application.
Okay, this seems relevant. Is this... Maybe?
To those, and tell me if those, I'll do that.
Okay.
Tell me if those are
It
the
looked like he had a little testimony there.
excerpts of your,
These
you need those?
go on the.
Or did I go too far back? I might have thrown myself off by having it go to the beginning of the stream. Oh my gosh, all of these papers.
And where on the phone did you find those images?
They were in a temporary file that was associated with Safari.
Can you explain what that means?
A temporary file is it.
All right, I think this might be important. We're talking about files of images that were found. I wonder if we're going to find out that these were the same images that were pushed through this anonymous website thing.
It's where an application will store a file temporarily for it to use. It could be temporarily there until it's downloaded. It could be temporarily there when it's uploaded. But it's just a temporary holding spot for a file.
I think we can go through these a little bit more quickly. I'm sorry, actually, Your Honor, I would ask that 100.
You saw his face?
Through 100 S2
He said-
be in public.
Your Honor, take a look at it. Scope of work, thank you for the-
And shout out to Ellen Tanner becoming a member, turning green. Thank you so much. He's like, please move this along. He's probably wishing he could read the graphic text messages instead of doing this. And now now the attorney's got to go through all the pages.
Pretty much around the same time. I mean, that's then probably better to ask about. I think they're all about the same time.
I also want to check that, just in terms of, I don't know if there's a foundation laid for the timing of these creation of these documents. I don't, so I'll make that objection on it. Otherwise, you can look at it, but I'm object to on that basis for the record.
All right, State's Exhibits 100A2 for 100.
Overruled.
That's 2 or admitted into evidence of the defendant's objection.
And let me clarify one thing before we go through those. these photos are just the photos from the IBD.co links that were in the notepad, correct? Not from any sort of
Correct.
communication.
So this
Okay.
is the anonymous
we'll try and go through this
sending.
a little bit more quickly. And does each exhibit show when the particular image was created?
So far, yes.
This is not.
Yes.
Yeah, so what I'm asking is, can we just fast forward to the third page of each exhibit? Okay. So 182, please.
This will be 5:01 p.m. on September 29th, 2020.
Okay. And so can you just describe for the jury sort of like the layout of the screen and where you're finding created?
Okay. Right here, under images where it is the timestamp to capture time, it shows that this right here, this application ID right here, this long 7FE79950, if you will scroll up, please. It shows that that's the mobile application ID for Safari. Okay, scroll back down, please. So it's found in that Safari folder, in a temp folder, and the name is actually the same on the device as it is on the IMGBB website, with the format that IMDb uses. Does throw in a couple extra hashes, but all the digits are the same and the hash mark.
Okay, and are these, when was this created?
This was created on 9/29/2020 at 17:01.
September 29th?
September 29th, 17:01.
Okay. E2. And if, just to kind of make this more efficient, if there is one where it's not in the temporary file, so I think you said they all were, but if we can just
Yes.
jump to the created date.
Again, this one was in the same temporary folder, and it was created on September 29th, 2020 at 17:01.
See? No, C2, sorry. My fault. When was it created?
Again, September 29th, 2020, 17:01, 41.
Also stored in the temporary?
Also stored in the temporary. The name is the same as the IMDb.
B?
Right.
E2.
Again, same camera make, camera model, created on September 29th, 2020, 17:01, and 50 seconds.
E?
Created September 29th, 2020 at 17:02:01.
F? F is the record room.
Again, camera make, Apple iPhone XS Max, September 29th, 2020 at 17:02.
G2?
September 29th, 17:03, 2020.
H?
September 20. $46.
L2?
September 29th, 2020, 17:03, 55.
N2?
4/19.
And two
1707.
within the span of 5 to 10 minutes, correct?
Yes, ma'am. Created September 29th, 2020 at 17:06:01.
If they don't, they look like they go on a break, so hopefully this is the end of the foundation.
Created September 29th, 2020 at 5:06:31 p.m. Created September 29th, 2020 at 5:06:51 p.m.
R2?
Created September 29th, 2020 at 5:07:10 p.m.
Your Honor, I'm going to move on to another topic, so I wasn't sure if you wanted to break for lunch.
Yeah, let me go ahead right now.
Oh, I can do S? I did. I'm sorry, one more S too. I apologize. One more.
September 29th, 2020, 5:08:11 p.m.
Sorry, now I'm moving on to 75. You want to break?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and break for lunch. We can go ahead and jury box. We do have lunch before we go into that. We'll come back at about 2 o'clock and resume this. Don't discuss the case, leave it among yourselves. Have a good lunch, and we'll see you back at 2 o'clock.
Still have this man shuffling through the paper. Let him take a break. Oh my goodness. I should just change the objections from the defense to like 1,000,000.
Excuse me, well, is there no party that it would be, we're gonna have this again if I got a chance before during lunch to see what's next for him. It's gonna be the limit, that's what we take it from town jury. If you have to go through it, no, it's fine.
So I'll get together, whatever y'all work out. All right?
Judge, on planning, are we gonna go through the day all day, so we need to prepare?
Now, we're going to be coming back next week, so I'm not this series. We'll be virtual. All right?
The rest of it should be short, Your Honor. This was kind of the large majority of the testimony.
I mean, put it this way, I don't know what time we're going to break for the day, but if you're coming back next week, next Tuesday anyway, there's no need to keep the jury here late. All right?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
So, what a waste. This is, I mean, how long was the stream going? 5 hours. They didn't really come in though until, yeah, they got in right away. 3 hours of this stream time from when court started till now. And we haven't gotten much of anything in front of the jury. And then they go to a green exit sign, which is kind of new. They want to be slime. There we go. Yeah, everybody, Friday the 13th.
All right, anything from the step before we bring the jury in?
Nothing to say, Your Honor.
Anything from the defense?
That's for Your Honor.
All right, let's bring the jury
Wow,
in.
nothing from the defense. Is anybody doing anything good this weekend? Or on this specific Friday the 13th? And any predictions on length of deliberations for Karen Reed?
and gentlemen, welcome back. I hope everyone had your lunch. We're ready to resume the trial of the case. Make sure you have your own notepads and no one else's notepads. Ms. Walker, you continue with the direct examination.
Thank you, Your Honor.
This is worth paying attention to. We're actually doing something important.
The defendant's phone for other evidence that she sent proof of the affair with Christopher Dontell to anyone.
I was.
Your Honor, I'm approaching with State's Exhibit 135. Lieutenant, do you recognize that exhibit?
I do.
Is that an extract or an excerpt of the extraction report from the defendant's phone?
It is.
And, Your Honor, I would ask that Exhibit 135 be admitted.
Any objections?
That's very much.
All right, State's Exhibit 135, and anything else without objection.
And Your Honor, may we publish it?
Yes.
Thank you. Let me know if you need more of the page shown, but can you tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what this extract from the report, from the report shows?
This shows an account that was accessed, a Google account that's hgabe2210, and it's under the passwords where it is kept in a keychain where it doesn't necessarily show the passwords. It shows the encrypted version of a key, but this was created on 9/27/2020 at September 27th, 2020 at 6:56:47 p.m.
Okay, and so is this showing the creation of the account or the password?
This is just showing that it was accessed, the account was accessed on this device. It doesn't show the creation time of the actual account.
Okay, and you're saying, did you say that the password is stored in a keychain?
Yes, keychains, not necessarily the actual legible key password, but it's in the keychain, P list.
So like now, it saves the password so that you don't have to fill it in every time, or what's the password keychain is?
That's Apple's secure place to store passwords, and if you own an Apple device, you'll see that you get the option to store things to your keychain, but the keychain P list still logs those entries.
So when was that account accessed with this word password?
September 27th, 2020 at 6:56:47.
Okay, and then, while you're looking at that, I'm just going to show you admitted 95, so remember the extraction. Remember, I'm approaching with admitted exhibit 95. That would be previously identified as the extraction from Erica Dontell's phone.
Normally the difficulty here is just seeing what's in the attachments.
If we're going to get to that, that's 99B. I can't blow that up at all.
Okay. If I can't identify what it is, I can't agree to it.
I mean, that's already in it.
No, 95 is that I showed them. That's the extraction. These are just excerpts from the extraction.
Okay. So how does that identify?
This is 99. All of the exhibits that Lieutenant Wells is testifying to are portions of the extractions that were turned over to the defense 3 or 4 years ago.
So you say that's part of it.
99 comes from 95.
95 is
yeah.
already in it.
Yes, 95 is the extraction from Erica Dontell's phone.
I don't have 95. 95 is not in it.
I have those entered through Sergeant Marcus.
You're right.
Okay.
All right.
So 99 is simply a portion of 95.
Well, State's Exhibit 99, other defendants object.
Your Honor.
Yes.
And so then, Your Honor, may we also publish it?
Yes.
Do you recognize Exhibit 99?
I do.
Is that, as we have been saying, a portion of the extraction from Erica Dontell's home?
It is.
Okay, so can you tell the jury what we're seeing here?
What we're looking at here is an email. The subject is Chris Dontell affair. And in the body of the email, it is proof that Chris Dontell is having an affair with Meagan Jackson. Meagan is pregnant, attached is text and pictures the two have shared. And then under the attachments, there are 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 images.
Okay, and then what is the date and timestamp on that email?
October 1st, 2020 at 7:30.
Can you tell who the email was sent to?
There's a glare on the screen, sorry.
Read it from the exhibit.
It's Erica D'Angelo@gmail.com,
Was that a
Miss
maiden name?
Dontell@gmail.com, Miss Dontell@gmail.com, Colton's mom@gmail.com, D'Angelo2 at Colton's mommy coupon, and Aaron @gmail.com.
And you said that that email contains a number of attachments.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you then go through and create or print out each of those photo attachments?
Yes, ma'am.
What if Savannah sent them?
Did I ask you what email account sent that message?
No, ma'am. But it came from
What email sent that message?
I wish we could hear who sent it.
Is that the one that the defendant's computer showed had been accessed with the password from the keychain?
the mobile phone, yes. Yes, these are the larger images of the images that are in the email, contain the attachments.
Did you, as you accessed those photos, did you then look to see if you could find those same photos on the defendant's phone?
I did.
Did you find them on the defendant's phone?
I did.
Did you create exhibits that are portions of the extraction report from the defendant's phone showing where they were located?
I did.
Yeah, that's my problem. I'm sorry, I'm adding my order. J2. Do you recognize those as the excerpts of the extraction report from the defendant's phone that you printed out?
I do.
Your Honor, this time I would ask that 99A2 through 99J2 be admitted in public.
Any objection?
Yes, sir, Your Honor. Yes, sir, Your Honor.
State's Exhibit 99A2, 99A2.
Okay, Lieutenant Wells, I'm going to do it a little bit differently this time, so I'll talk about 99A and then 99A2, so we're on the same image. Does that make sense? So can you start with 99A, once it's up on the screen?
Once it's up on the screen.
Is that the first attachment from the HDA 2210 email?
It is.
And then going to 99A2. Okay. Does this page show where you were able to find that photo on the defendant's phone?
It does.
And does it show what date and time that image was created?
Yes, October 1st, 2020 at 7:26:51 p.m.
Going to, sorry. B2. Okay. Is that the second image? This is on I'll be.
That's me.
That says which is fine. Okay, I'm sorry. 99B. Is that the second attachment from the email?
It is.
And going to 99B2. Does that say what date and time it was created on the defendant's phone?
Yes, it was created on October 1st, 2020 at 7:27:11.
Is that before or after the HA email was sent?
This is right before. Yes.
You still have Exhibit 99 running, right?
No, that's a.
You should still have it.
Let me take it back. Hang on.
Yeah, that's the theory, Curious Coco. She did all this to expose the affair and break up the marriage.
Yes, it was before the timestamp for the email being sent was 7:30:24. Same date, October 1st.
Okay. We see C. 99C.
I don't think that these pictures are on the device at the same time.
It is.
I think the creations are staggered. Hey, Factual Eye. Good to see you.
At what date and time was that image created on the defendant's phone?
Again, it was created on October 1st, 2020, 7:27.
Still before the email was sent?
Roughly 3 minutes before the email was sent.
D.
Have they all been 7:27? Because the one image, he just said it was the same day before
Is
it
that
was
an attachment
emailed.
from The HA email.
It is.
And D2? When was that photo created on the defendant's phone?
October 1st, 2020 at 7:27:42 p.m.
99E?
7:42.
Is that another attachment from the email?
It is.
E2? What date and time was that image created on the defendant's phone?
October 1st, 2020 at 7/28:06.
F? 99F? Is that an attachment from the phone that you printed out?
It is.
I mean, excuse me, from the email. And then F2? What date and time was that image created on the defendant's phone?
October 1st, 2020 at 7/28.
Again, still before the email was sent.
Yes, ma'am. 2 minutes before the email.
99H.
I mean, this is sending text messages, like screenshots of text messages from the defendant's phone. So, logic would suggest that whoever sent this email had access to Meagan's phone. And if it were me, if I was a teenager and I was going through someone's phone and I wanted to expose them, I don't know that I would think it would be necessary to send a whole packet of information. I think pretty much finding 1 or 2 things would be enough and I'd go about my business. Like, hey, I wanted to let you know, don't know how to say this. I don't want to get in trouble because it's my mom. But sending all of that, that's a lot of time to have someone's phone. And we've heard some testimony that Savannah wasn't even allowed to have her devices sometimes. And it seems like her parents, Meagan included, would shut cell phone service off for Savannah. I don't remember the specifics of her testimony, but it just seems unusual that she'd have possession of a working cell phone for a very long time if that was the testimony we had. Which leaves who would have had access to these screenshots from content in Meagan's phone to be able to email. So, I can't wait to see the defense cross this, try to discredit it.
Is that an attachment from the HK email?
It is.
G2?
Do they read these, Peter? Should we read these? If they're not going to read these, okay, they're going to read it with the big bubbles. Thank God. We're good.
What date and time was that image created on the defendant's phone?
That would have been created on October 1st, 2020 at 7/28:53.
You may have to start speaking up a little bit because I think the sky's opened up outside. 99H. Is that an attachment from that email?
It is.
H2? When was that image created on the defendant's phone?
That would be October 1st, 2020 at 7/29.
99I? Is that another attachment from the email?
It is.
99I2? When was that image created on the defendant's phone?
This would have been on October 1st, 2020 at 7:01.
701?
Yes.
99 there. This is the last one. Is that the last attachment from that HK 2210 email?
It is.
Case 2. When was that image created on the defendant's phone?
It was created on October 1st, 2020 at 7/29:47.
So essentially all those attachments from the HK 2210 email, did you find having been created on the defendant's phone prior to the date and time of the email was sent?
Yes, ma'am.
I'll take this out. It's all right, I'll put it over. And there's the 99 on board.
That was a loud
Also
table slam.
examined the defendant's phone for relevant text conversations between the defendant and Christopher Dontell.
I did.
So the jury heard testimony about a package that Dontell intercepted and gave to the defendant. Did you find any text messages that seemed relevant to that?
I did.
Think he's gonna find an issue, chat?
I'm approaching with State's Exhibit 155, and if you can look at that and tell me if it is an excerpt of the extraction report from the defendant's phone relating to the package.
It is.
Your Honor, this time I would ask that Exhibit 155 be admitted and published.
No, sir, no.
It states exhibit 155, and maybe the evidence.
Can you read those texts, please? The text is a little small. And if you can say who the speaker is.
Okay. From the owner of the device, which is listed in the contacts as HMMMMMM. Go home, watch your mail, meaning your mailbox. I remember this one time he was, David Coates and Douglas, do you want me to?
There's a curse. That's what he's just.
You asked me the question.
You can read it. I mean, you're not person at the court. You're reading the text.
I remember this one time he was fucking with his ex-wife. He wouldn't hesitate to put something in your mailbox.
What's the next text?
From the same. Plus, he texted me, which means he's off work. He should have had enough time to get to your house. I would watch it for the next couple of days.
And then who is the response? Is there a response to that?
There's a response from the contact 333-81 or 1844, which is Chris Dontell, that says, okay.
What does the next couple say?
Also, I'd be careful with you not being home. He might stop by if he sees just her and knows for sure I'm out with you. If it is him, chances are he'll have the balls to confront her if he's that pissed off.
Okay, and what is the date and time range of that text conversation?
This was on September 28th, 2020, from 3:53 p.m. to 3:58.
After seeing that text message about the package, did you find any relevant location data on the defendant's phone?
I did.
Do you think there was an opportunity for Greg to have her phone long enough from September 27th to October 1st?
Portion of the extraction from the defendant's phone with relevant location data.
It is.
Your Honor, at this time I would ask that Exhibit 101 be admitted and published.
You need to.
Yes, sir.
Exhibit 101, exhibit 11.
Hey, Tay-Biz. Don't forget, Tay-Biz is doing the Mickey Steins deposition. I mean, I think we'll actually finish this up and probably redirect over there right around the same time that he's starting that. So we'll do that. We will do that.
And then just scroll down so you can see. Yeah, like that. Or no, whatever. So can you tell me what lines 1 and 2 show?
This shows a location from her device in the native locations. It's in the SQLite database right ahead log, and it has GPS coordinates of where the device was, and it was where the device was, and it was visited, and it gives a time it was there until.
Sorry, I'm just going to start over here. So that's indicating that it was visited?
Correct.
And then
Oh,
this is
September
time,
30th.
So September 30th from 1:34 to September 30th of 209? That's what?
Correct.
In the position column, what does that indicate?
That is the latitude and longitude of where the device is.
Was she at the mailbox? Was she at the mailbox?
What does this line 3 show?
This is a location data that comes from a search in Google Docs, or I'm
She's
sorry, Google
cooked.
Maps.
She's cooked.
That searched the name FedEx Office Print and Ship Center, and it returned back the GPS coordinates.
What is it?
Oh,
The last column.
Megan.
Scroll back up so we can see what that is.
That is whether it has been deleted or not.
So does the yes indicate that it was or was not deleted?
It
She
indicates
deleted
that
it.
that record was deleted.
She deleted a Google search.
Did you then run those GPS coordinates just through Google to try and find what was there?
I did.
I'm approaching with 101A and 101B. Did you create printouts from the internet of what's at that location, those locations?
I did.
Are those copies of what you found on the web?
They are.
Your Honor, this time I would ask that exhibits 101A and B be admitted and published.
The objection.
Mr. Your Honor.
I said, exhibits 101A and 101B is in the,
All right, so what does 101A show?
101A shows the GPS, the latitude and longitude, and a pin of where that, when searched, that latitude and longitude came up.
What was at that location?
This one is a FedEx office over off Seaboard Street.
Court's in motion for a minute. Perfect. Can we go to the second page of that? Just scroll. Is that also just from the Google Street View?
It is.
Okay. We can go to 101.
They had said earlier, you know what, this is important. I don't know if they just underscored it and I just missed it just here, but earlier, the prosecutor asked this witness about the time frame of these items being deleted. And he said the day after the crime. So at that point, Meagan hadn't reported Greg Rice missing yet. So if this is one of the items that was deleted the day after the crime, before Meagan reported Gregory Rice missing, before the body was found, would she already be in the state of mind to just, you know, I'm innocent, but that could look bad, so let me go delete it? Or is it just consciousness of guilt? Let's get the skillets back on the screen.
Second set of ordinance.
It is.
What's at that location?
The UPS store package ship.
Oh, she goes to UPS, though. She made a decision. She said, which would be cheaper for me to send?
Did you examine the defendant's phone for any text conversations where she might have suggested that Greg Rice revealed the affair?
I did.
Yeah, but this stuff is, like, this activity is on the defendant's device. Never underestimate.
That seemed to suggest that Greg revealed the affair.
I did.
Did you create an excerpt of the report showing what you found?
I did.
We're reading the sweaty balls text, guys.
States Exhibit 153.
I think we're getting there.
Is that the excerpt that you prepared?
Shannon, you got here just in time for the sweaty
It
balls
is.
text.
Your Honor, this time I would ask that State's Exhibit 153 be admitted and published.
Yes, sir, just under the rule of completeness, Your Honor, we're getting excerpts here, and that's okay to some extent, but if we'd like to have the complete conversation from these dates included for the jury's consideration.
On cross-examination, you can put in the entire conversation.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, that's a fair enough objection. We want the whole context of the sweaty balls, the whole thing. Shannon, thanks for the super. Shannon says, good afternoon to everybody. Happy Friday the 13th on Elm Street in green. Heck yeah, and you missed it. We have during breaks, they were panning over to a green exit sign. So we're getting a little green in the courtroom here today too. So it's good to see you got here just in time. The morning was just like hours of foundation and exhibit issues.
Text Exhibit 153 admitted in evidence over defendant's objection.
And can be published, Your Honor?
Yes.
Thank you. Can you read this text conversation, please, including who it's to and from?
This is from the same HMMM, the owner of the device. Just talked to Greg, you busy? Then next, he goes, okay, well, she goes, okay, well, Greg does know I'm knocked up. And he said he would tell Erica to her face and would have a long time ago if he got the chance, but he had said he hasn't yet. He also said it's not him texting, and then just tried to make a cover for himself when he talked to Savannah. From the 1844 number, which is listed as Chris Dontell, double homicide, call you in a couple minutes. And then back the response from the owner, it's been more than a couple minutes, men, and I'm panicking. You're not going to be able to lie. He doesn't care, and he has enough proof.
And what is the date and time on that text conversation?
It would be September 28th, 2020, from 8:52:06 p.m. to 9:27:19 p.m. on the same date.
Did you also search the defendant's phone for text messages that indicated a potential plan to harm Greg?
I did.
Did you create an excerpt of the report of the relevant evidence that you have?
I created an excerpt, yes.
Okay. I'm approaching Your Honor, State's Exhibit. Go ahead, got it. State's Exhibit 151.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that
This
the
is.
excerpt that you created? Your Honor, this time I would ask that Exhibit 151 be admitted and published.
I'm sorry, did you respond to this text? Any objection?
Yes, sir, Your Honor, this is indefensible character evidence, subject to Rule 404.
Can you hand it up to the judge? Just show me the process here.
Yeah, so Angel from Heaven to 25. So Meagan dropped the affair evidence at the wife's house. It seems like she used UPS after making a search for a FedEx drop-off center and then deleting that Google search. I mean, unless someone else was using her device for that whole time period. But she's texting Christopher through some of these days.
151 is admitted in evidence over defendant's objection.
And I think I'll withdraw. Thank you.
This is a text excerpt from, including conversation from the owner of the device, and the number listed is Chris Dontell. From the owner, it goes, the want and the doing is two different things. Hopefully it's slow for you again. Why don't you text me later when you want to eat? Greg Pub not getting kids today. He pissed at me. And this was sent on 9/28/2020 at 9:13 a.m. Still, but he being polite. I'm all for popping a tire on the highway or cutting a brake line on
What?
you. From Chris Dontell, his reply was, unfortunately, I am too now.
Oh,
Thank you.
look at them smiling. Look at the attorney. Popping someone's brake line is crazy.
recurred. Where's the notice for them?
I'll wait patiently for the prosecutor to get these texts together. I'm seated. I'm ready.
There had been some testimony about a text from the victim to the defendant about a storm coming. Did you search for that conversation?
I did.
Were you able to find a relevant text conversation?
I did.
Did you create an excerpt of the extraction from the defendant's phone showing that conversation?
I did.
Same guy, same face. That's how I feel. Chat, this guy should just do reaction content. How long does this go for?
Start time,
Oh, here we go.
start time, this is not being admitted this time, is that right? Or are you trying to do it now?
I am going to try and admit it through Lieutenant Wells.
Yes, sir, this one's identification, you're not submitting it in this amendment.
I'm showing it to you in this moment so that you can see it.
I'm
and
going to
then
have some objections, is all I'm saying. I'm going to have some objections to this document going into evidence under the same rule we just discussed, it's going to be on 404, Your Honor.
Your Honor, I'll show you States Exhibit 157. Again, this is an excerpt of the report that they have had for years.
I think, like, there hasn't been anything sustained by the judge, minus the, yes, this is a little too small to read. Oh, you have a thumb drive. Okay, let's work that out. Which, I mean, it didn't keep anything out. It just made it so the exhibit would be more presentable. Oh my goodness. So I'm just leaving the objection counter kind of it's arbitrary, but look at the judge staring at us. He's like, chat, can you really believe that we have to do this? Oh my goodness. Yeah, and Peter, thank you for gifting 10. And Peter also wants to know, chat, who thinks she is innocent now? Look, I'm like fighting to find, like, playing devil's advocate things for the defense to ask. And the things I thought that they should have asked yesterday, they didn't even ask Christopher Dontell when they had him on cross. So I don't know. But huge thank you here to Peter Ortiz. Let's get some boom emojis going in the chat. I think Peter might want to take some water away to make this speed up, but we're going to add another 10 water pours here. Just crazy. This judge, let's see if this continues into Tuesday. It seems like there's something with the court schedule going on Tuesday. I feel like the judge's buttons are going to get pressed. So big thank you to Peter. Peter has been here trying to tell us that Meagan, nope, she's just crazy. She did it. And it looks pretty bad for her. STS also coming in. STS said, hold on. We need more water here. STS, thank you again for gifting the memberships earlier. Doing it again. Peter with the green hearts, I'm going to say this is right to STS. Super, super awesome here. Let's get 10 more for STS in the banner. And I think STS is going to lose his mind with cross-examination of this expert, because I don't think there's much to dispute about the contents besides, you don't know that she was holding the phone at that time, do you? Not very believable if she wasn't located at a residence or anywhere else except work, and she's talking about things that presumably her coworkers wouldn't know the specifics of. And then he's going to try to discredit Celebrate and say, there's been some reputation issues about Celebrate deletions not being reputable. And I don't think that that's going to land with the jury if he's trying to elicit a familiar issue in the Karen Reed trial, where the issue was, it seemed in the SQLite data, the wall files, that there was a dispute. Did Jennifer McCabe actually delete the "Haas long to die in cold" text? Was it actually searched at 2:27 a.m. or was it just a relic from an open tab? And I don't think that that was that believable. So he's trying to relate to a criticism that I thought was a reach already. So if I was on that jury and I was picking up what he was putting down with that, I'd be like, yeah, there might be issues with data and how people look at it, but I don't think the issue or the criticisms are the criticism you're making here. I think you're relying on a reach in another trial and hoping we know that reach and just assume the same here for your defendant here. Just a whole mess. Just a whole mess. Can you imagine if they call Celebrate expert, guys? What if Jessica Hyde shows up? Or Ian Whiffen? Or somebody worse? And I don't think Jessica Hyde was that bad. I just think she had confirmation bias. She tunnel vision and got the wrong thing, and that's a very bad outcome. You don't want to do that. But I don't think she lacked skill. I think she just wanted to conclude what she concluded and didn't realize that there could be flaws in how she got there. But can you imagine if we get a Celebrate expert here?
I'm showing you State Exhibit 157. Is that the excerpt from the data extraction from the defendant's phone showing a text conversation that includes a reference to a storm is coming?
Trying to find what page it's on.
I think it's the last page.
Okay, yes.
Is that an excerpt that you created?
It is, yes.
No, I'm sorry, I'm double checking to make sure. But I would ask at this time that Exhibit 157 be admitted.
United States Exhibit 157 is admitted into evidence over the defendant's objection subject to the redaction to be discussed.
And Your Honor, just to be efficient, I can have him start reading this, but I want to just...
Whisper, whisper. Hey guys, and holy moly, Peter's been a member for 10 months. Oh, that's a very long time. Peter, holy moly. Happy 10-month anniversary. I appreciate you being here. You're saying that I'm having a great time with Kat in chat. I'm having a great time too. You tried to tell us about this trial. And chat, I just asked Peter for his opinion on Jen McCabe. And she is crazy, but I think credible. So there we go. I'll take an in between. I don't think she's credible personally. But I'll take the concession on the crazy. The disbelief.
And who is this text conversation between?
From 1-843-650-150, which is G, and the owner,
Letter G?
and the owner of the device, which is the XS Max.
Okay, you're gonna have to speak up.
All right.
There you go. Can you start at the top of the conversation while we're waiting to complete the redactions and just say who is sending the message and who's responding?
From G, is it okay to come and get the kids? Reply, they are not home from school yet. G, okay, then I'll go home, take a shower. Thanks, just text me when they're ready, please. Hope your day is going well. The owner, kids home, just text when leaving.
Okay, and just for clarification purposes, the owner of the phone is Meagan
Meagan
Jackson.
Jackson, yes. Actually, to G. Actually, they can stay today and tomorrow since no school tomorrow. From Greg. Well, I haven't made it home yet, so I can just head that way. It'll be about a half an hour when I would arrive. She replied, okay, that's fine. Stay or wait till tomorrow. Either way is fine. Greg, I have no problem with them spending the night tonight and tomorrow if that's okay. Reply, that is fine. When can you, Greg, when can I pick up the kids? I hope your day is going well. She replied, I'm on my way back. I left this morning for a call in Aner and haven't been home yet. They've been giving Savannah a hard time and trashing things. As soon as I go home and make them clean up their mess, they can go. Greg replied, he just texted me, hey, just text me, please. She replied back, okay, you do have a better or more cooperative dick when you're high. From Greg, WTF. From Ms. Jackson to Greg, that was not supposed to go to you, nor was it supposed to come out like that, so I'm glad you got it. It was supposed to say more of a dick and not a cooperative. From Ms. Jackson, if you can pick up kids by 5, I have a body in NC waiting for me to pick up. I need to leave by 6. Hello? Is that okay for that time? Again, I have to let Chuck know.
Those were all from the defendant?
They were. The replies were, sure, I'll be there at 5, so no one even had lunch. Ms. Jackson replied back, no, they refused to do anything today and I don't really care. Had you not got them today, they would have had dinner and straight to bed. Dakota took part 2. She pissed in cups and had the dogs drink it. He replied, well, where else is she supposed to piss when Savannah doesn't let her out? And it's quite apparent that you don't care. From Ms. Jackson again, excuse you. As soon as I walked in at 4:47 p.m., she asked, and I said, you're leaving in 10 minutes. Wait till you leave. This was when Savannah had her out with the other 2 cleaning the upstairs, so she wasn't even in her fucking room. She made her go back in the room after she went into Savannah's room and took her shit and messed stuff up. So go ahead and run your fucking mouth again. Greg replied back, okay.
Thank yous. So we've seen a lot of, well, we've heard testimony. We also got a preview of some of the messages that Meagan was sending to Christopher, suggesting, you know, Greg's the annoying person. He can be abrasive. Oh, he's actually being polite today, as if that's unusual. But then who's being the abrasive and aggressive one in the messages here?
She also said, she texted back, also, Blake was told not to let Rocco out while you were here, and he could give 2 fucks less and let him out anyway. Greg replied, okay. From Ms. Jackson, you know it doesn't matter how many fucking days I take off and spend the day with them. The second that I actually have to work, they turn into little assholes. I don't know if that's because I let them go back and forth between my house and your house and things aren't the same, or if they're all just need to go to fucking boot camp. Just got to this, again, this is, Ms. Jackson, just got to reception again. Me and Savannah broke down in Asheville. Chuck's sending us another driver. Van won't be fixed until tomorrow. From Ms. Jackson, you can call Chuck if you need to, but we won't make it back till tomorrow and going to miss our flight today. So trying to figure out how I'm going to make it to court Friday. Greg replied, funny because the kids said you were leaving this morning. Once again, I don't heed people's warnings that warn me you were going to F me over again and do this asterisk. But I love my kids so much, I want to be with them all the time. From Ms. Jackson, we were supposed to leave this morning. It was 12:50 we leave and wouldn't get there till 5:29. I just lost $2,000 in plane tickets. Thanks for being an ass about it. From Greg, okay. Oh, but I'm going to lose my F asterisk job because I have nobody to watch my kids. So no thank you. Ms. Jackson replied back, call Chuck. It was not planned. I'm losing $2K like I said, and I still have to get to Ohio. From Greg, why would I call Chuck? Is he going to watch the kids for me? I'm right down there. It would have been a nice to get a call last night or whenever instead of night, right before I walk out the F asterisk door to take the kids to your house. How convenient. She replied, thought I would make it back, didn't know. I has to wait for Van. Then fell asleep, about to lose reception. From Greg, when are you getting back? Weird, Chuck's not answering his phone either. Miss Jackson, that's because we had an autopsy this AM, so did I. He should answer when he's done. I'm not sure I still have it figured out Ohio.
Through Brooklyn.
From Greg, when are you going to be home today? ETA. I need you to take the kids soon as you get home because I've got to look for a new job. Hello? I have bad service here. This is from Ms. Jackson. I don't know. I have to make it to Ohio before Friday somehow. I'll also have to wait for Van to be fixed. Chuck's driver coming to get Bodie. Your body. Sorry. From Greg, well, I hope you're home by today. Otherwise. According to Chuck, not till tomorrow now. I open cans of worms because I have nothing to lose now. Sorry, but I guess I'm just not cooperating. I should be happy I lost my job. From Ms. Jackson, I told you first text car being fixed tomorrow and I still have to get to Ohio. I told you first text, again, I told you first text car being fixed tomorrow and I still have to get to Ohio. From Greg, what court date do you have tomorrow? Meeting at, Ms. Jackson replied back, meeting a judge, no hearing set yet. October 5th is court quiet. Greg asked, trying to figure out what is going on. I don't see any court dates from the last time you said you were there. Sorry, I don't trust a word you say. Everything is always riddled with half-truths and half-lies. So I'm going to start letting people know the truth. From Ms. Jackson, first of all, it's under a trust we meet a lawyer, which mine quit. Papers are at home, asshole. I can show you when I get back. So fuck off. It won't come up by searching my name. From Greg, well, the scheduled court for October does, but not just talking about court. Supposed to meet her tomorrow. From Greg, sorry, wrong person. From Ms. Jackson, I'm not, and I didn't make it to Ohio. We are coming back, but won't be back till later. From Greg, Kay, be safe. Are you going to be home tonight so I can drop them off in the morning? From Ms. Jackson, I am taking my time coming back home. Won't be back till tomorrow evening. Stopping by a FH and sitting in Charlotte tonight. Awesome. You really did cost me my job. Thanks. You told me you'd be home later, so I told my boss I'd work tomorrow. Thank you. Trying to salvage my F** life. Unreal. All I can say is wait for the storm. From Miss Jackson. I never said when. I said later. From Greg. God be with you in your travels. Enjoy yourself. From Ms. Jackson. Actually, I specifically said I am not coming back today, but we didn't make it to Ohio. If you read the first text I sent. From Greg. Tell it to God.
Get some more.
Huh?
Get some more. Thank you.
Thank you.
And what is the date of that text conversation?
Scroll down a bit. Beginning on 9/22/2020. Until 9/25/2020 at 6:43 p.m.
Okay, and now if we can go to admitted exhibit 98. I'm not going to give you that much.
Hope so.
And I want to read what they don't want to read. Oh my god, are they going to let them skip the balls text?
On line 6, that entry that has some flight information. Can you read it? What date is the flight out of Myrtle Beach?
September 24th, 7:01 a.m.
So during the time period of the conversation you just read?
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, I have no further questions. If you just answer Mr. Burton's questions.
Cross-examination.
Just for your honor,
Oh,
did I have a couple minutes based on
All right.
those recommendations? Just to-
dang. So they never got into some of the texts that were shown earlier with the hanger and everything like that. But the jury's going to get to read them all. And or somebody else is going to come in and talk about them. When this is over, if they don't get into it in cross, we can go read some of those.
For the record, this was provided 3 or 4 years ago.
Your Honor, could we let our potential witnesses go for the day?
Yeah.
Oh. What? Oh, potential witnesses.
So were you asked to look at Chris Dontell's phone?
I was asked to look at several devices, but I can't remember if I did. I don't believe I did Mr. Dontell's phone.
So as we sit here today, there's information that you could or could not cross-validate related to where Meagan Jackson was, location data-wise, and Chris Dontell. You don't have that information.
I'm sorry, I didn't
Well-
remember my question.
Well, here's what I'm asking for you. On 9/30, in September, on 9/30, when Meagan Jackson goes to UPS and FedEx, Chris Dontell is with her. Are you aware of that?
I testified to the data on the device. That's on the device that's analyzed.
Okay. So you're not aware that the two of them were going there to try to put a stop to anything coming from that?
I'm the digital, I do digital evidence, sir. I'm not the investigator of the case, so.
On those dates you were showing us, the times you were showing us, everything I got from y'all had two different kind of time periods. Sometimes it would be accurate, sometimes it would say UTC. On the ones that we're showing here today, were those the time shown on the document, or were those not yet converted from UTC?
Which ones, what did
Yes,
you,
sir.
show me which ones were
Yeah, I'll
UTC?
give you an example. Find one.
What exhibit are you showing?
I'm gonna show 153 and 157. It says UTC there? Fine.
Where?
Right up there. On that one.
Right here?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's UTC -5, New York, that's local time zone.
Okay, it's -5. So on some of mine, it said -5. I had to do the math myself, and on some, it was already done for me.
So which ones did you have to do it for? Did you have to do the math on them?
We're
all?
talking about
I haven't even
thousands.
asked the question. Okay.
We're talking about thousands and thousands of documents. I mean, I guess what I'm asking you is there any way for us to know, see here, 155. Time zone settings, UTC. You see how it says that?
That's just the, yes, sir, that's just the summary. That's the name of the time zone at UTC that shows the setting right here again is UTC -5, New York, sir.
Okay, so does that mean that the UTC, it has
It means-
been subtracted from it, or you have to do the subtraction?
No, it's in the local time.
If that's converted time, so.
I mean, he's just trying to muddy the waters about who could have been near the device that some of the stuff was coming from when it was being tracked in Celebrate. And he's also trying to poke holes in, was it properly displayed what time it was? So time and place. He's trying to poke holes in time and place. That's it. Well, time, place, and access because of time and place.
One of the things I couldn't get a grasp on, isn't the time flow this way? Erica Dontell gets a message on the morning of 9/27. That's the first time she receives information about the affair between Chris Dontell and Meagan Jackson. Is your understanding?
I mean, I don't know what the first time, what she knew. I know what the data that was on the device that I testified to, because I don't know what she would know.
The time of it's important, is that morning, wasn't it? Sir?
Check what time?
I would have to see.
On the morning of September 27th. The morning of September 27th, Erica Dontell received the first indication that there was an affair going on between Meagan Jackson and Chris Dontell.
Is this the email you're talking about, or are you talking?
No, sir.
I don't know, sir.
On that? All right. Because right after that, what's sent to Meagan Jackson is a message from Chris Dontell.
Objection, Your Honor. Counsel's testifying.
All right, it's not testified.
Okay, well, Your Honor, I'm having to explain to him the fact that he can, I'm asking the fact that he can deny or he can respond to it if he likes. I don't think it's an improper question. I didn't get the question out.
Your Honor, if I may respond.
Oh. I wish we could hear the sidebar. He's like bolstering his own argument and his own question. Yeah, she never seems to have a neutral face.
As we sit here today, do you have an understanding
Lost
of the sequence of events in terms of the information Erica Dontell received related to the affair between Meagan Jackson and Chris Dontell?
A basic understanding of the sequence of events, yes.
Okay. All right. You would agree with me, wouldn't you, that the first information Erica Dontell received about the affair was on the morning of 9/27?
I cannot testify to what was the first information that she received, sir. I mean, I do digital forensics. I can testify to data that is over device. I mean, I don't know what she knows or what she was sent, or I don't know any of that. I'm not the investigator on the case.
You are the Cellbrite. You've been put forward as the second digital forensic expert and Cellbrite analyst. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And I just watched you testify, and every time I testified, there were dates and times given in your testimony, wasn't there, sir?
That is correct.
And so I'm trying to go back and rehash some of the dates and times with you, and we'll see if you understand. So
Okay.
as we sit here today, can you clarify for us what time Erica Dontell received her message on 9/27?
On 9/27, when she did,
Yes, sir.
without the exhibit in front of me, we've
Okay.
been through so many. But
Okay. And then, as we sit here, do you have information about what Chris Dontell did with that information?
I wouldn't, that's beyond my scope,
Okay. But you were looking at Meagan Jackson's phone.
because it was provided, yes.
Okay, so you would then know that Chris Dontell sent her that information, that Erica received.
That Chris Dontell sent.
Chris Dontell sent that information to Meagan Jackson and said, look what's been exposed.
If you could please show me, counsel.
You looked at Meagan Jackson's phone, right, as part of your extraction.
I did.
At 9/27, on 9/27, September 27, at 10:30 p.m., Chris Dontell sent Meagan Jackson a couple of lengthy messages, which included the information related to Erica Dontell.
Objection, counsel is testifying.
Without the report, without an excerpt showing me exactly what you're talking about, that one phone extraction is so large, it's impossible for me to know all the data, the dates, times. I mean, with all due respect, I mean, that's a lot of information for me to recall off my head. So if you would please show me a portion of my report.
No marks for identification, Your Honor.
Your Honor, may I be approached?
That's the same exhibit that Megan was holding and showing the other attorneys. Oh,
Defendant Exhibit 4, identification.
so defense won that one.
Or may I approach the witness? Yes. I'm going to hand you what has been marked Exhibit 4 for identification only. Did you look at that and identify in the green bubbles if there appears to be information being sent to Meagan Jackson?
I mean, this is a visual representation of what it would look like from the data and the device.
And it's a timestamp. That little timestamp thrown in?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Can you share that time with us?
Which one, sir? All three?
Just the first one.
Those.
Oh, yeah, the evidence if he's going to testify.
So is this missing?
Is it refreshing memory?
Just-
Let me see.
Yeah, yeah. Take a chance to look through it.
He's not
Okay.
going to recognize it.
Does that refresh your memory as to what information, or that information in large fashion was sent to Meagan Jackson from Chris Dontell on the evening hours of 9/27?
It does not.
Womp. Seeing the hopes leave her face.
in reviewing Meagan Jackson's phone, you would have seen other messages. Because I've seen you just testified to a number of messages. Is that right, sir?
That's correct.
And part of that was to try to help you get context. My understanding. Is that right, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so it would have been important to you, I imagine, that on 9/27, that Meagan Jackson reached out to Chris Dontell to let him know she would try to help him figure out.
Objection, Your Honor.
Still testifying. Ask your question.
Are you aware that Meagan Jackson contacted an IT professional to try to help her figure out, try to help Chris Dontell figure out?
I'm allowed to go ahead.
Contacted an IT professional to try to help Chris Dontell and Erica Dontell figure out where the 927 message come from.
I'm not.
Are you aware that Meagan Jackson tried to help Chris Dontell and Erica Dontell figure out what platform had been used to send the message that was still 927?
Repeat that, please.
Are you aware that Meagan Jackson tried to help identify the platform that was utilized to send the anonymous 927 message?
No. No, sir.
All right. You read some messages between Meagan Jackson and Gregory Rice, is that correct?
I did.
Are you aware that Meagan Jackson eventually confronted Gregory Rice about the 927 message that was sent to Erica Dontell?
I don't recall right now.
Okay. All right. Beg court indulgence, please.
All right.
You're aware that on 9/28, Meagan Jackson told Chris Dontell that she was not
Objection,
public.
Your Honor.
So,
You said you read messages. You read messages between on Meagan Jackson's phone. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Did you recall seeing any messages where Meagan Jackson told Chris Dontell she didn't want to do this anymore?
Objection.
so,
And move to strike, Your Honor.
all right, well,
Court indulgence. Good. Okay. So as we sit here today, just want to make sure it's clear, you agree with me that y'all have, you've been presented with kind of cherry-picked information from text messages between Meagan Jackson and Gregory Rice. Is that?
When we do reports and we do extractions, the UFED reader report that's for a force multiplier, so everything, as I testified earlier today, that these extractions are extremely large, so there might more eyes on it.
Okay. No further questions, Your Honor.
is it right?
Nothing from the state, Your Honor.
All right, give me a second. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a long week. We're going to go ahead and break for the week. We're not going to be able to get this, we're not going to be able to get through with this strong today. We still have a ways to go. We will not have court Monday.
No court Monday.
We'll be back Tuesday at 9:15. Leave your notepads in the jury box. Do not discuss the case with anyone. Don't conduct any independent investigations. Don't watch any news reports. I hope you have a good Mother's Day, Father's Day. I hope you have a good weekend, and we'll see you back Tuesday morning at 9:15.
Oh,
Thank you
justice
very
for
much.
Greg Rice. Yeah, weird joke to be. I don't think this joke is for you, Megan. I don't think this is a good one to laugh at. But okay. Dad seems bored. And then they cut after this. I don't think anything interesting happens. So Ronnie says, do you think she wants to testify? I actually think she does want to testify, and I cannot decide if I think the weak cross-examination on Christopher Dontell, and even here, is because they're going to discuss more of these things with someone else on the stand who can discuss these things. But who else could discuss something? We've already had investigators on the stand. We've already had Christopher Dontell on the stand. Who else would have the knowledge of what happened in the moment where supposedly only Meagan and or Christopher would have been present? So one explanation for what I think the defense is being extremely lackluster is Meagan herself taking the stand. And I rarely see that as a possibility, but I don't know, maybe it is here. Maybe that's a possibility here. And if that's the case, it's not often you see a defendant take the stand. This is a he said, she said. She's been making faces this whole trial. I think it'd be fireworks if she takes the stand. I don't think it would necessarily help, but I don't know. I think there's like a 50-50 shot, which is way higher odds than I would ever predict for like the usual trials that she might take the stand. So, yeah, I don't know. Like David Traylor says defense seems unorganized. I think someone else said the same. I think like a few people have said it. And the prosecutor, I've said like she seems to like struggle, like she'll be holding an exhibit and like throwing it at the witness. She just fumbles a little bit, but her questions are organized. And when she does a redirect, she knows what points she needs to redirect on. But as far as the questioning from the defense attorneys, it's just been like a struggle to get some of the questions out. They don't struggle when they want to get argument in through their questioning. They spit that out fast and clear. And the prosecutor, to give her credit, has been very sharp in objecting before they're able to complete now. She's objecting before the whatever mic drop moment the defense attorney thinks they're going to get with their own question is fully stated. So, yeah, Peter Ortiz says, I say no, you don't think. Yeah, I don't think it's like a guarantee or anything like that. I think it's, I don't, do you think her attorneys would advise her to take the stand or not to take the stand? What do you think the attorneys would advise her? At least if they were to talk to her about that decision today after everything that's happened through days 1 through now. Do you think that they would suggest it might be a good idea? Or we definitely strongly disagree with you if you think you should take this stand. We do not advise that. So, yeah, Mr. Big Play Bray, Sarah Boone taking the stand. Yeah, that did not work. Yeah, Ms. DB says if she does, I'm going to call her Lil Lori. Yeah, you think, okay, Pink Slime thinks they're actually advising her not to take the stand. Yeah, David says I wouldn't let her take the stand. And then I think JC's saying, advising her to actually take the stand. Yeah, this is true because he is subject to recall, right? ST, I don't think this is a long shot. The defense brings back Chris, quiz him on the text. And they could do that in their own case in chief. So, yeah, that's really smart. That would be, I think, the smartest move. But STS, I don't know if the lawyers think like you. I don't know if these particular lawyers are there with that level of strategic thinking. I guess that would be a way to find out. Let's see. Yeah, you know, Mr. Big Play Bray, both sides are trial attorneys. Did you see anything with the other prosecutor? She hasn't done questioning today, and I don't think she did any questioning yesterday, but she did opening statements, and she did a witness or two on the first day. And I think she's charismatic. I think she's organized. I think she's very easy to understand and follow. I think she's a very good trial attorney, the other prosecutor. So the defense has the opportunity to call certain witnesses. I'm pretty sure when he was leaving, and there was another witness yesterday, I think the guy that did the CSLI, that the prosecution requested would be available for recall. Let's see, law and crime, day 3. And do we need to go to day 2 or 1 to see if he wore the same suit? Let's see.
Refresher.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, you may step there.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and break for the evening. There's going to be no pads in the jury box. Do not discuss the case even among yourselves. Don't conduct any independent investigations. Don't talk to the news. I'm asking you to please be back at 10:15 tomorrow morning and we'll be following. Thank you very much.
Your Honor.
Anything? All right, anything from the state before we recess for the evening?
Nothing from the state, Your Honor.
Anything from the defense?
Nothing from the defense, Your Honor.
All right, I'll try to take.
Yeah, so if they were going to call him back, it would, probably be limited in scope to rebut something that was presented after he took the stand. But, I mean, that would be this whole report, this extraction that was admitted today, which is a wealth of material, right? So it wouldn't just be like, oh, the one thing this expert introduced for the first time. That's a pretty expansive thing. Also, it's possible if the prosecution has other witnesses they plan to call, they might, now that they have this report in, they might bring back, an investigator or detective to come speak about more of these things. So, who knows? Because we never got a reading of that one. We never got a reading of some of them. So, I don't know why they would have had all this printed out. They have to be having another witness come and read this stuff. Probably to suggest this is why we started, suspecting that this was a plot rather than just a one-off thing. Let's look for some of the bubbles. Where was the balls text? Because I don't want you guys to not believe me. It was on the screen. And earlier when I said, this could be bad character evidence for the jury, depending on how sensitive they are to sensitive issues. This is a whole conversation. It seems like she sent a sonogram and it says them, and it's probably twins. And the response is, what the F? I deleted the next comment too. Are you being serious? Yo. And then it says, JK, we still waiting. Calm down. Sorry, pick wouldn't go through. And stuck, I wouldn't do that. And then, so we have a baby on the left, and then on the right, a quadruple amputee with a pig snout smoking a corn pipe. Is that for real or no? No, Jesus, is a pick wouldn't go through. I'm still waiting and got in an argument with McNabb. Jesus, don't bring Jesus into an abortion discussion, LOL. And then there was another one in this set. 2 fetuses, correct? We about to fight. Still waiting. Dr. McDick just pissed me off, and he said he wants more blood work. For what reason? A more expensive invoice? Complicated, but it's an effing doctor money scheme. Annoyed as F right now. Call him out on the money scheme for real. Oh, I did. I know because Doc explained how they get in trouble for not doing it. I also said, let me see what was effed up. And he said, oh, we can't do that, which is also BS. Call him out. Seriously. Oh, I will. We'll tell you when I'm done. Oh, they were on this one for a while. Okay. Oh, just remember I'm waiting as if I'm there with you. Well, I won't be joking anymore, as it was awful timing as usual. Do explain. I sent you that picture, it was a joke, and when I was texting back that I got into an argument with Dr. McDick. So instead of texting you back right away, I was too busy arguing with somebody. I just left because we got into a huge argument, and he said my other blood test would confirm exact level and refused to let me see the results of my other tests. So I said F it and walked out without getting any of the other shit done. We've been there for hours and there's nobody fucking here. I'm really pissed. So we just bought 6 more tests. All right, so my brain's thinking of the text with Greg where Greg's like, you tell half-truths all the time and not just about this one thing. Okay, so this is kind of what we read. Bought 6 more tests. I'm gonna take them. Savannah can record it. Why would she bring her daughter into record me peeing on these tests? And then when I see Dr. McDick at Grand Strand, I'm going to throw them in his face and tell him to go F himself and his money scamming additional test. He still said he had to do more blood work and a pelvic exam before anything else, and every time he left the room, it was like 45 minutes before I effing came back. Yeah, I'd be pissed too, and you were probably nicer than I would have been. I'm really tired and probably going to pass out soon. If you need anything, call me. I won't hear a text after I fall asleep. Yeah, this is where I'm going. Like, I don't know if the pregnancy was for real. And that would make sense because that would be a crucial part of the investigation, right? Because a pregnancy could, amplify a potential motive. So I do think we're probably going to get another, sheriff's office or some other type of investigator on the stand to read into some of this stuff and how it impacted the next steps in their investigation and the conclusions that they drew. So I don't think today, I think he was kind of the records keeper for some of it, but for whatever reason, they had him read a segment of the stuff with Greg, probably to contextualize the time frame of the sending of this packet and the FedEx search that was deleted while the defendant's device appeared to go to a UPS shipping center. And then the one message continues, but I'm here for you. Seriously, I'll go outside to talk to you if I need to. Just please know that I care and want to be there. How about I just send you a video of the test? I also send you a video of me peeing if you really want. But Savannah can also confirm, and as soon as I actually get the ultrasound, I will show it to you. So we have this conversation here where she's promising an ultrasound that isn't really a real ultrasound after whatever she sent. Haha, no, is that a pig snout? And then we have the text with Greg where Greg's like, aren't you supposed to have, when's the court date? You don't have a court date? No, but I swear there is court. I have the paperwork at home. I'll get you eventually. And he's like, well, you lie about stuff. So Meagan continues. So I'll actually get the ultrasound. I'll show it to you. Although I probably just curse it now. There will be 2. You can send or not send whatever you want. I just really want you to know I'm here for you. I know you're a hard ass and joke around all that, but I'm a big pussy. So that's when I said I thought I saw the P word, but not in that way. And I love you and I really want to be there. Go to sleep. That will make you feel better. I will send you whatever. It's okay if you're sleeping. LOL. In other words, F off. What? No, I'm just excited you work tomorrow and don't want you to be tired. Is there a discount if there's 2? Don't hurt my feelings. I have no idea. Savannah says I would imagine they should give a 2-for-1 special. For sure, I would think it would only be 1 or 2 more swipes of the coat hanger. Shouldn't cost too much more. Now think about, this could be a complicated, you make a joke to make light of a panicky, anxious situation. Sure. But the jury could also look at this and be like, that's a disgusting joke to make. And it's also South Carolina, so thinking it's a joke in bad taste could be very bad character evidence, not just for Meagan, but also possibly for Christopher Dontell, because he's the one actually saying this at first. She's about to embrace it. But I don't know how they did their voir dire. I don't really have that much faith in these defense attorneys. I guess they could have voir dire to try to get very religious folks off the jury. But I don't know. In South Carolina, there were churches everywhere. I feel like this is more than just going to leave a bad taste in at least one juror's mouth. I think this is going to make them, at least one person on the jury, look at both of these knuckleheads as just people that don't care about other people's lives. So, Meagan says, if you bring your own coat hanger, do you get a bigger discount? And he says, yo, I have like 50 of those. Yeah, and also, it's super weird if she's not even pregnant. And yeah, Peter, is she just using that to keep him hooked? Dolly. Do you want to save her still? Let's see. Oh yeah, Plans and Pen says reading these messages makes her facial expressions make sense. Yeah. All right, so he says he has 50 of those hangers, the cheap metal ones from the dry cleaner. I can sharpen them with my belt sander. Guaranteed, can't miss. I'm just gonna say you're mean now. I think a vacuum would hurt a lot less. Not only me, but probably the fetus. Good call. Let's go the vacuum route. Side note, Clayton Kershaw is perfect through 4 innings, as usual. Yeah, that's a pretty big side note. All right, really gonna stop now, but please keep me posted. If I don't reply, it's because I'm asleep, but please update me anyway. And then the next thing is the picture of the, like, 6 or 5. I think it was, she said 6, but the picture I can only see 5. It's covered by the iMessage thing of the pregnancy test sticks. Yeah, it's 5. About to take 3 more. What good is that gonna do? Isn't it obvious at this point? Okay. This is really tiny. I always forget, does it let me zoom out? And if I zoom back in, does it let me? Not really. Does this have a zoom thing? No, it's not actually carrying the zoom forward. All right. Just so you are aware, I'm considering extending our stay in Maryland. Going to talk with my admin tomorrow about it. They ask you get something notice if you change something with equipment. So this is a screenshot of a text that's being sent. Okay, and it says some other stuff. I don't know. I see that, and she obviously wants you to stay longer. Why you sent her my text? When I see shit like that, it makes me paranoid. Uh-oh. And I think that she knows all the shit, and you sit there and are making fun of me or something stupid. Then I don't want to talk to you. Maybe you should extend your stay if that's the case, because... And then we can go back to the normal view. Was this it? No, this one. But maybe you should extend your stay if that's the case, because I don't see her thinking that's... Oh, and there's a bunch of pictures. There's a sonogram picture. Is this supposed to be the pig snout that was being referenced? Is this Ted? This looks like, what's that Nick Cage movie where it's like a Chuck E. Cheese, but it's a different name, Wally World or something like that. That's what this is giving me. Oh, geez. We got the I F and love you. We have the Homer Bush. We have a spiral. We have 2 balloon dogs launching chat. I don't think that's safe. What is this? Oh my goodness, chat. Do we need this sticker emoji as a channel emoji? The back of Christopher's head to show proof that, you know, Your man's in my bed with me. I think the pregnancy is still a fact at issue in this case. I think we're going to hear more from somebody's going to be called to the stand to tell us more about this. That is a fact at issue because she seems like she sent a fake sonogram that obviously had like a joke in it, like a baby, and then something that was obviously not a baby. And then she's like, but I'll keep sending you sticks, pictures of pregnancy tests. I don't know. I don't know. She could have been. But it's not impossible to send a picture of a positive pregnancy test and not be pregnant. Did they get any more up on the screen soon, or can we skip way forward? Okay, there's a little bit of... Okay, so this was the deleted. This is saying there's something that says 2,800, like 2,803 deleted, then 7 deleted, and 7 deleted. Mm-hmm. And this stuff's really tiny. I don't think it's going to do us any good to look at that. Where was this? The balls? You guys are going to not believe me. Okay, guys, this is it. I make a point of spending time with you, and I love spending time with you. I like to have sex with you. I make a point of avoiding Erica, and she makes me sick, and I don't have sex with her. There isn't a comparison. And then when he was reading this, we didn't get the full what's in the screenshot here. We only got him reading a little bit of this screenshot. Yes, but you say you reject her all the time. Therefore, I felt like you were treating me like her. I'm not getting to... Maybe if I press play, it'll like focus better. Therefore, I'm not going to dead Soch if you want to eat somewhere later. Dog? Okay. I didn't reject you in any way other than saving you from having to deal with nasty, gross balls that probably smelled like BO and asshole. I spent time with you, I touched you, I kiss you. And then it says, okay, I'm not sorry. Was more of it on this one. I'm not sorry I was upset about it, but I can drop it if you can. But he's not keeping it going. There's nothing for him to drop. I was trying to save you from my gross balls. What chivalry? Chivalry is not dead, chat. Let's see. Okay. They had this in better view here. All right. So I think that was, probably the highlights of the messages that I would have liked them to read in court for our entertainment. But that is pretty contextual, right? Like a little blip here because she feels like she's getting rejected and she's not better than Erica. And she's soothed by him saying Erica's gross. And then she has to make it seem like, well, I'll drop the argument if you will, but you were the one making it an argument. And then in a separate message, I think might have been from like a week later, she was saying like, I get paranoid. But yeah, Dolly says FFS. I mean, you're gonna jinx it bringing up him being perfect. Uh-oh. Curious Coco, thanks for hanging out with us live. Good to see you. Says full-term pregnancy marker with with Kat. Well, and that's the thing. So remember, would that have been October 2nd? According to Christopher Dontell's testimony, while they're dealing with Greg's body, she says, I'm having a miscarriage, you need to handle it. And while it's not unbelievable for something stressful to cause a miscarriage, obviously that could be a reason for it to happen in that proximity of time. But at the same time, I'm questioning the time frame of it. You're sending sonogram pictures, and Curious Coco says, I saw somewhere you can order sonogram pictures online for doing psycho things like this, right? You're sending a sonogram picture, and then he's like, well, haha, wait, that other thing's not really a baby. That's a joke, right? But I'm going to get you a sonogram. The doctor is just being weird. I had to walk out. But Savannah, this other person, she's going to record it. I can have her record it to prove it. I'm going to send you a bunch of pictures. He's like, I'm going to bed. And then she sends the picture of a bunch of tests when he's not even pressing her for proof anymore. So I don't know. I haven't really looked to get docs for this case, but this is, what courthouse is this? Probably like Horry County Superior or Horry County. Let's see. Yeah, it might be like Horry County Clerk of Courts. I don't know if this is actually where I can poke around with it this weekend. But typically, if this isn't the right site, this isn't the court that she's at, there's a directory to figure out what court you're supposed to be looking at if you poke around enough. Jenny says, I got from cross-examination that Chris is a serial cheater. Yeah, and then we're seeing, cheating with somebody. And we heard from Erica that they were already having issues in the marriage, but she didn't think it went to this level where he was sleeping with somebody else until she was confronted with this exposure. But if there were issues, and then Megan's getting the sense that he's not spending time with her, answering, or is rejecting her in some way, maybe there was a third. Maybe there's a third woman. So, okay, wait, the duplicated bubble. Did I pass it? Yeah, they wrapped up for today, and there's no court Monday, Trikisha. So we're just going back. The witness didn't read all of the content that was displayed on the screen while they were just getting everything submitted, published to the jury. So it's possible we're going to have this stuff read on another day. Let's see. Let's look for this double bubble. Double bubble. And I don't know, did Savannah testify about, did the prosecutor ask her about, did you ever sit and do pregnancy tests with, I'm going to have to go back and listen. There's things that I didn't fully catch from Savannah. I think I was paying more attention to just, her posture. What does this one say? Where are you? Not going to say I'm paying cash to keep this off my record. TFG for fake IDs? I don't know what TFG means. Okay. Not going to say I'm... Okay, wait, that's the same one. Please keep me posted. I feel really bad and want to be included. Oh, wait. Don't worry about it, but I will let you know. They are almost on test 2. They have to tell me 2 more times I'm knocked up before ultrasound. I just want it taken care of before Florida. So she is Because remember, we heard testimony that Meagan paid for this Florida trip. So if this is the same Florida trip, she's trying to not be pregnant while she goes on a trip with the family? Okay, just keep me posted tonight and take pic of ultrasound. Okay, he is pressing for it. And I really hope you don't get upset when you see it. That's what I'm most worried about. Okay, but I'm sure you will be asleep, and I wouldn't F you over like that, even if I would get upset. And it's possible, I'm not sure what order these were sent in, because we're just going with what order they're on the screen. Okay. Okay, I'm sure you'll be asleep, and I wouldn't F you over like that even if I would get upset. That's a forever life effer. I hope you're not just being nice about it because you're worried and think I probably would F you over. No, it's not about me being F'd over. My concern is you. I know you are hardcore and can handle shit, but I also know you have a soft side. This is kind of a big deal in some way, and I want to be there for you as much as you can. I love you. Just keep me posted throughout the process, please, and let me know if there's anything I can do. And know that I really want to be there with you. Tell McNabb to put his, I don't know what the emoji is, maybe pen away, and hurry up. Well, thank you, but I'm the... Well, thank you, but I'm the fucktard here. Wish I could tell McNabb that, but seriously, please keep me posted. I really do wish I could be there right now. My brain and heart are there, and I'm serious. Keep me in the loop. Okay, so what we're reading now is before what we read like 10 minutes ago, because that's where we're going to get the picture. Okay, well, I will. It's taking forever, so don't think I forgot. Okay, I'm really sorry. I'm fine with what's happening, but I effing hate the fact that you're going through this because of me and that I can't be there. Give me 5. Okay. And then we have the sonogram picture that's not her sonogram picture. Oh. That's when we got to the I'm sorry, I'm keeping them, what the F, and baby on the left and quadruple amputee on the right. What is up with Meagan? I think these are all the ones we read. What was that? Oh, this is the packet. This is the packet. The anonymous packet. Oh, we have the memes in color this time. Okay, green bubble text. So it was a green STS. It was a green bubble that was duplicated. That was unsent. Sent. Uh, sent. Oh my god, there's a lot here. Okay. This one says sent. I think that says sent. Sent. There we go. Oh, okay. So when is this from? This is from the 24th. My phone only up to 5G here. Don't know if you can get my messages. And it says unsent. And what was she sending a picture of? I want to know. What was she trying to prove with this? This is when she's talking to Greg. That's because we had an autopsy this morning, so did I. He should answer when he's done. I still have to figure out Ohio. Was she trying to send a picture of something as proof to back up whatever excuse she was giving? Like how she sent a fake sonogram picture while she's saying she's trying to get an ultrasound? I has to wait for Van. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously, it's possible you're trying to send something and service kicks it out, especially if it's a picture. But specifically for it to be a picture that's not being sent, I wonder if she was just trying to send some fake proof to back herself up. Okay, so there's another one. There's another one. Okay, these both say sent. She's talking about bad service. Okay. I told you first text car being fixed tomorrow, and I still have to get to Ohio. That was unsent at like 11 a.m. on the 24th. And then the next one, it actually sent like a minute later. And it looks the exact same. I don't even see any spelling differences. So wait. I mean, this goes to there is service issues, signal issues there. Dolly wants her phone extraction. That's going to probably be great. That's going to be great. It's going to be voluminous. It's going to be voluminous. So where was Jenny? You guys know Dolly, right? And you know what's weird, Dolly, is when I was looking to, like, for a channel to redirect to whenever I ended the stream yesterday, are there new Wade Wilson jail calls? Like, does he still have the girls calling him? Because a stream came up that was live. It was like phone calls from jail, one of those channels. But yeah, Dolly is the place to go for all things juicy with public records. So there's Dolly's link in the chat. But Jenny, make sure you're subscribing to Dolly. Because, I mean, he's got... you could probably go through an archive of his streams, and he's got so much from the Rush trial. Seth, the guy Seth, always creeps me out. Dolly knows I'm creeped out by that guy. Seth Kinney. The old Seth Kinney. But his messages and the walkthrough of his home, where he also stored evidence, I want to use the word stored lightly, very lightly, because his whole house was all over the place. Just crazy. Okay, so they're older calls for the Wade Wilson. Guys, Wade Wilson is this guy convicted of, like, horrible, just, like, killing women. Convicted. And then he has a bunch of women calling him in prison, you know, fighting over whether he's talking to other women on his jail calls, his prison calls. Just like, I get that people do things, right? But then when you just see it play out and you get to hear it, it's just like, why? How is there more than one willing participant in this? And he plays all of them, and he's just like, ha, okay, babe, can you go put money on my commissary? And they're like, I'll go right now. And he's like, can you go sooner? Can you go put $20 on? I want some Doritos. And it's just like a crazy thing to observe. Just very, very crazy. Ugh. Yeah, and JC from the D says it's not uncommon. Women are attracted to men in prison. Just saying. I see it. I don't get it, but I see it. I see it happening. And I don't mean a situation where you had some connection to the person before they were arrested or whatever. What I'm talking about is somebody gets known because they have a trial, and then individuals look them up to start contacting them while they're in custody. That's where it starts. That's where I'm like, I just don't get it. I just don't get it. I feel really bad for people who have family members that are incarcerated, and especially if the individual's fighting for their innocence, right? Totally want to separate the issues of what I'm talking about here. But just crazy. It's crazy, Wade Wilson. So yeah, I think that's it for, we're at the point where we were reading all of these. The witness was reading these. We went back and looked at some of the stuff that was visible while they were just getting their exhibits straight. I do think we're going to hear some more of these messages and maybe see the pictures and hear a detective's theory on how they all pieced together and what they meant and how it connects with other pieces of their investigation. So I don't think this is the end of the Cellbrite extraction tea in this case. With that being said, Tay-Biz moved his stream to 6:45 p.m., so just under 2 hours from now. Let me link to that and we can redirect somewhere that's live now. Tay-Biz is covering Mickey Steins. That's the sheriff that walked in and pew-pewed the judge. He's going to be going through the full deposition of Mickey Steins. So there is that to the Mickey Stein stream. And I mean, I think any Karen Reed content's verdict watch right now, right? So probably nothing, no real like active Karen Reed content. Let's see. I've got, it's all Karen Reed. Karen Reed, Karen Reed, Karen Reed, Karen Reed. Okay, I do see a Donna, is it Adelson or Adelson? I want to say Adelson. Do you guys want to go to a new trial? It says Donna Adelson's media expert cites Koberger case in support of change of venue request. Is that precedential at that point? Did the change of venue go above the trial court level for Koberger? Because I would say, the crux of Koberger's motion for a change of venue was the data that they gathered. They put together, they surveyed people, they did statistical analysis, and that's got to be specific to what you're polling people, what you're surveying people about. So I don't really see how you can rely on Koberger. I don't see how that would be. It seems like it would just be how they did it too. So, but that'll be interesting to hear. Let's try that. That's I didn't pay attention to anything going on with Donna Adelson, which is why I don't know how to say her name. I've read some stuff when Kathy Roussan posts from Law and Crime. So we'll redirect over there and see it. That should be starting. It says now, so. And then remember, tape is at 6:45. And then Chelsea Lynn, good to see you, says no verdict, they sent jury home. Kind of read tea leaves into that. They don't even feel like starting it. They just wanted to get out of there. And with closing arguments only being an hour-ish each, It's not like 8 hours of closing arguments and they just want to go home. So that's kind of interesting. But yeah, there we go, you guys. Thanks for hanging out and going through my struggle session, trying to get through these messages and read what we could. We will be back with this case on Tuesday. So remember, no court for Meagan Jackson on Monday. I'll be back Tuesday, but I'll probably see you guys in some streams, some chats somewhere else. Big thank you again to STS and Peter for all the gifted memberships. Curious Coco for coming to hang out. Shannon Alexander wishing everybody a great Friday the 13th. LM Tanner saying, I'm just going to become green. I'm going to be green. Jenny trying to give gifts, and STS coming in the clutch to help her out with that. And the Honorable That, who reminded me to put on the docket like a top hat. So big thank you to you guys for supporting. And yeah, have a good night. See us in the streams. I love that because it rhymes with dreams. You guys all have a good one and avoid that full moon. You know, I'll keep it clean. Avoid the full moon shenanigans. Have a good one, you guys.